Star Wars used to be one of the most beloved franchises in all of entertainment, but that all changed when the twisted mind of George Lucas was left unsupervised and unchecked by a medical professional, and he was able to army crawl himself away from Arkham Asylum and onto a chair in front of a pen and paper and write the prequels. Now, let me just get this on the table right now. I know episodes 1 through 3 of Star Wars are objectively awful movies from pretty much any perspective you can spin on them. But tell that to my penis that still gets hard with a nostalgia boner every time I rewatch one or see one on TV. There's something special about the charm of those movies, and it's probably just how old I was when I saw them that it still holds a special place in my heart. But they are shitty movies, and that is where Star Wars goodwill kind of died. And you know the story from there. Disney digs up the grave of Star Wars and Mickey Mouse forces it to dance like a twisted puppeteer. They got off to a good start with Force Awakens. I thought that was pretty solid, but everything from there has just been an absolute asshole fire. Just pure, putrid, awful abominations from Disney Star Wars movies. But Star Wars has been dead long before Disney started fucking it, so what Disney's doing to Star Wars is just necrophilia. What I want to focus on today, though, is the story about Jake Lloyd, the child actor who portrayed Anakin Skywalker in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. This is a very interesting story about how George Lucas not only ruined a beloved franchise, but ruined a 10-year-old's entire life. Jake Lloyd was dealt a bad hand as a result of that movie. A little background on Mr. Lloyd. His parents were in the entertainment industry, so they knew their way around the field, and he wanted to get into it, so he landed some small roles in television shows and a few movies. Had a big breakthrough with Jingle All the Way with Arnold, which is a Christmas classic, and then his big breakthrough should have been Anakin Skywalker in Phantom Menace. That kind of role with that kind of power with Star Wars coming back with the prequel was absolutely fucking massive and should have catapulted his career, but all it did was catapult him into depression. The movie was a stinker. You all know the story. No one really liked The Phantom Menace, even at the time. It's not something people look back on and now shit on. Even at the time, people were actively dropping trousers and putting a fat asshole on the movie, calling it bad. And most of the blame was shouldered by Jake Lloyd's character, thus Jake Lloyd himself. So as a 10-year-old kid, that's how old he was when he played Anakin Skywalker, he had neckbeard greaseballs attacking him on all fronts of the internet because they blamed him for ruining Star Wars. Instead of the blame falling on the rightful shoulders, which should have been George Lucas or Jar Jar Binks, who Jar Jar did catch a lot of shit, obviously, but for some reason it was almost all targeted at Jake Lloyd's character and his portrayal of the character. This is a thing I've talked about in recent times. People seem to blame the actors when the character is bad or if the acting is shitty, but that is 100% on the shoulders of both the writer and the director. The writers write these characters, so if they're a shitty written character, that's not the actor's fault. They're working with the ninth graders' homework that they were given for their script. If the character's acting is bad, that's the director's fault because they weren't leading them properly. It's not like the acting just became bad as a result of the editing or what happened. If the acting is shitty, it's because it was shitty when it was filmed, which means the director should have done another take until they got it right. I don't think that kind of blame should ever fall on the actor for their portrayal of a character, but that's exactly what happened here to a 10-year-old. And Jake Lloyd himself said not only was getting shit on by these adults on the internet a contributing factor to his depression and a lot of the bad shit he went through, the children at school would bully him for being Anakin Skywalker, which is fucking baffling to me.
Part of my life for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it something
High
like
school is, they wouldn't let it go, so.
It's just such a weird thing to insult someone for. Oh, what a fucking loser. You were in one of the biggest movies of all time as the lead character. What a dweeb. You'll never be successful like that. I'm gonna go back to eating glue and huffing Sharpie fumes like a real alpha 5th grader. It's just a weird target for bullying and really unfortunate for Jake, because that's something that even if the movie was bad, you should still be very proud of. I know I certainly would be. Like, if I had a lead role in The Room or an equally acclaimed awful fucking movie, I wouldn't let people forget I was in that shit. I love that kind of shit. I fucking brag about being in a voice acting role for a cameo character in a game that sold 8 copies on Steam. You wouldn't want to see me as a lead role in fucking Star Wars or something like that. It's just a shame what happened to Jake there, both from adults and in his school environment. Also, George Lucas had him working like a fucking sweatshop worker. Jake Lloyd said he was doing up to 60 interviews a day for Star Wars, which is just an unbelievable number. I can't even believe that shit. I don't know who could even stand that as an adult, let alone a 10-year-old kid. But even still, I understand Star Wars fans aren't the most intellectually enlightened. They're no Rick and Morty fans when it comes to intelligence, IQ, and that kind of supreme being intellect. But I don't know why they'd still blame the child instead of a more obvious blemish on Star Wars, Jar Jar Binks, who did shoulder a lot of shit, but not near to the extent that Jake Lloyd's character did. I mean, Jar Jar Binks, for God's sakes, his whole contribution to the movie was always, Misa make white pee-pee when Misa see you, Natalie Portman. Like, how can that not be the most glaring issue of the fucking prequels? I don't know how it'd be on Anakin Skywalker, who's just playing a fucking kid who likes pod racing and has a midichlorian count in the 9 figures. It's just a stupid fucking fans targeting the wrong fantasy characters if they really want to get into this like limp-dicked fantasy where these characters are real and the movie is ruined because of these characters and not George Lucas's batshit awful writing. But so moving on from there, Jake Lloyd quits acting at the age of 15. He develops a phobia of cameras because of all the bullying and the ridicule in the interviews, and he no longer ever wants to be filmed. He still does some voice acting for Anakin in the Star Wars video games that come out for the next couple of years, but altogether quits that around 2005, 2006, I believe. And then from there, it's even more downhill. He did a few appearances at some Comic Cons in 2012 and before, but it was always out of obligation and just wanting a quick little buck to show up. Nothing wrong with that, but he'd always get questions about being Anakin Skywalker, which he very clearly hated. The interviews are really hard to watch. He's very uncomfortable, always dismissive, seems confrontational, as if bringing up Anakin Skywalker is like the Winter Soldier's trigger word, and he just goes into this zone where he hates being associated with that, and that's the saddest thing. I really can't help but feel super bad for Jake. He stops going to Comic Cons and conventions and public appearances in around 2013, and then in 2015 he hits rock bottom where he gets into a physical confrontation with his mother and then engages in a high-speed GTA police pursuit across a few counties with the police. There's footage of it, and it's a pretty fucking wild chase. He loses his tire and runs on the bare rims and then does like this fucking gnarly spin out into a fence. It was wild shit. And then, of course, pod racing jokes were the easy ones to make. So we got Star Wars joked on even for something like that. Unfortunately, Jake Lloyd's entire life revolved around his character of Anakin and the negative connotations surrounding it. Thus, Jake Lloyd was never able to have a normal or enjoyable childhood or teenage years, all because of the ridicule he'd constantly be subjected to for his one role in one big movie that George Lucas really fucked him with. And it's such a sad story because maybe Jake could have been a massive successful actor. Maybe the prequels could have been good in some multiverse out there. There's really no telling. All we know for sure is that Anakin Skywalker ruined Jake Lloyd's life. This is Star Wars Episode 1, the first Skywalker's last acting gig.
I think everyone's going to think it's a great film because it is an amazing film. You saw it last night. It was amazing. And it's really a nice, it's very nice film.
Now I should mention, after the fact with the high-speed chase and Jake Lloyd's arrest, it's important to talk about why it happened. According to Jake Lloyd's mother, the confrontation was the result of Jake Lloyd blaming her for his life being ruined because she got him the role in Star Wars Episode 1, and he never forgave her for it. Thus, they got into a fight where he pushed and kicked her, and then ran away, got arrested. Jake's mother also reveals that at 19, Jake was diagnosed with schizophrenia. That probably sounds about par for the course for anyone that works with George Lucas and is subjected to 60 fucking interviews a day as a result of working with George Lucas, the goddamn madman. So overall, just a horrible story about a successful breakthrough role leading to the demise of someone's mental health and just genuinely like their whole life seems to have been ruined as a result of having a big role in that movie. And that's about it. Just wanted to tell the story of how Star Wars has not only been ruined as a franchise, but also ruined some lives along the way as well. That's it. So yeah. Yesterday, the world was struck with something it could have never prepared for. We as a species would have never expected what happened yesterday. The Mayans predicted the world would end in 2012, but I think what they were actually predicting was what transpired yesterday, with Fortnite shutting down. For over 24 hours now, Fortnite has been offline. In that period of time, we've seen violence, drug use, robberies, and Dorito sales all increasing exponentially at an alarming rate. It's the fucking wild, wild west out here now. Fires raging, degeneracy all over the place. It's lawlessness all over this bitch. It's looking like Mad Max now that Fortnite's been down for so long. It's like Pandora's box was opened with Fortnite's closure. This is a pandemic the likes of which this world wasn't ready for. We couldn't have possibly been ready for. Just look at what CBS had to say about this outbreak.
These were the sounds heard around the gaming world.
Bro, what is going on?
After Fortnite, creating anger, confusion, and complete hysteria.
Why is this game not working?
The footage is hard to watch. It looks straight out of Kingsman when the rage meter was turned all the way up and everyone started just fucking annihilating each other in the streets. That's what's going on with Fortnite. This may be an extinction level event that we're witnessing here if Fortnite doesn't come online soon. But I'm not really here to talk about the response to Fortnite going down. Obviously the freak out videos that are going all over the place are clear satire. Those have existed for as long as the internet has. The angry German kid smashing his keyboard, the World of Warcraft guy shoving a remote up his asshole, all of that was proven to be fake. Just satire videos, and it's no different in this case. I don't know why people are using this as some type of leverage or evidence against Epic Games for Fortnite's addictive properties. No, it's kids making a YouTube video hoping to go viral for a fake freakout. That's always happened. What I want to talk about, though, is in the same broadcast from CBS, they talk about Fortnite being as addicting as cocaine. And Epic Games is actually being sued by mothers in Canada because they consider the game too addicting.
Fortnite has been compared to be as addicting as cocaine and tobacco by some parents. The game is free, but players can pay for accessories including costumes.
Now, I just want to start this by pulling your pants down and hitting you with the truth. If you're suing a video game company because your child's addicted to it, you're a shitty parent. It's not the video game company or the game itself's job to do your parenting for you. You're just a shit parent. Everyone involved in this class action lawsuit against Epic is a certified shitty parent. There's a thing called parenting that is apparently lost these days because iPads and video games, most parents just give them an iPad and let them go fucking horse around on YouTube and then get mad if they see Elsa sucking Spider-Man's dick. Like all of a sudden they're surprised and outraged and it's YouTube's fault because they did a bad job raising their son or daughter. It's your fault as a shitty parent. Also, anyone who starts their statement on Twitter, Facebook, or Reddit with "as a parent" followed by your opinion, I immediately write you off as just totally fucking useless to the conversation as a parent, as if being a parent makes you an expert on anything at all. Oh, well, I personally, as a parent, believe that building cars is super easy, but dangerous. Oh, so you're a mechanic. No, but I have 9 kids. As a parent, how fucking useless. What a nothing burger of a statement. Fucking half the parents don't even vaccinate their kids anymore because they read something on Facebook from an obscure Facebook group where one person's daughter got vaccinated and turned into a werewolf, and now all of a sudden they refuse to accept science all of a sudden. It's just fucking stupid. Being a parent doesn't make you smart. It doesn't immediately raise your intelligence or anything like that. It's just, what does a flat earther, a climate change denier, and an anti-vaxxer have in common? They can all be parents. Does that mean that all of a sudden now they're smarter than what they were before? No, it's just a stupid statement as a parent. Stop fucking using that. But what I'm talking about in regards to Fortnite specifically is, as a parent, you can take the goddamn game away from your kid if you think they're being too involved in it or addicted to it. Spend time with your kid, God forbid. Do some other things with your son or daughter besides let them sit in front of the screen tearing away at their, ligaments, getting muscular atrophy from day in, day out, shoveling junk food in their face and playing a video game. If you want to change that, you can take that power for yourself and do something with them to get them away from the game. That's totally on your right as a parent. You don't have to have a perpetual babysitter with your iPad or their video games. You're in control of that medium for them. So be a fucking parent and stop trying to sue video games and change things that you're not even involved in yourself. It's so frustrating. Parents suck these days. Not all of them, obviously. I'm not speaking in absolutes. But this super vocal group of parents, mumsnet.net.net, whatever these fucking stupid forums are where these lunatics interact with each other and spitball the most brain-dead garbage 18th century ideas. It's just harmful to just everyone around. I don't even want to use the word society because it's just a fucking meme word, but it's applicable in this case when talking about these parental assassins that target anything, put in their crosshairs anything that's fun because they're afraid that their son or daughter might not be age appropriate for it, so thus they have to get rid of it entirely. Like fucking R-rated movies they'll go after because they have children. You know, just don't bring your goddamn kid to the R-rated movie. I don't know why you have to be mad at Joker for existing just because you have a 4-year-old. Not like you're forced and obligated by law to bring that 4-year-old to the movie theater. Stupid fucking parents, man. It's frustrating. And this Fortnite thing really made me just pretty upset about it. I don't give that much of a fuck about Fortnite, obviously. I don't really play it. And by really play it, I mean I haven't played it in like a year and a half. But it's just so dumb to compare a video game to drugs and real addictions like cocaine, heroin, and shit like that. Because as a parent, you're in control of that addiction. You can immediately kick that addiction for your kids. There's no video game withdrawals where they're going to be scratching at their neck, throwing poop on the walls, and just going buck wild because they can't play Fortnite. And if they do, that's called a temper tantrum, and it's a pretty normal thing with growing up, and you need to learn how to combat that as a parent. So just be a fucking parent. Stop blaming the internet and video games for your lack of willingness to be present in your child's life. You shit-ass parents. That's it. See ya. It's been a little while since I told a story, so I figured it was about time that I sit you all down by the campfire and put some fear in your boners. I'm going to tell you a really recent story, something that I think everyone can take a lesson away from and use it in their everyday lives. So before I really dig into the meat of this, I want to preface this by saying I have not pissed my pants in a very long time. Now that that's off the table, let's get into what the story is about. As you've probably surmised from that intro, it's about pee-peeing in the pants. It's about a time where I flirted with that devil. And this all takes place in the mythical year of 2019 AD on October 4th. It was literally 6 days ago as of recording this video. It was right before going to happy hour, and if you watch my streams at twitch.tv/moistcritikal, you know that the streams are fucking bangers, and that I also pee a lot. I drink a lot of water, which means I'm constantly expelling a lot of urine from my body at jet stream-like pace. I really fucking pressure wash my toilet when I get in there to do that business, so if urinating is considered a game of chess, then I'm the goddamn grandmaster. Now, this was right before going to happy hour. I had just gotten all dressed up and spruced up, ready for action, and we needed to pick my friends up before going to the bars we were going to. But before going, I had the little inkling of a pee-pee coming on. It was still brewing, but it hadn't matured yet. So I figured there really wasn't any point to doing that. The bars weren't far, my friends weren't far. I'd just hold it till I got there and then just do my business out there in public. Just kind of to assert my dominance, like, hey, I'm not afraid to mark a urinal with my seal of approval. I'm not afraid to stamp this with my penis juice. So I just wanted to wait. I didn't see the point in going before heading over. That being said, on the journey to my friend's place, it was still very tame, very manageable, barely even noticed it. Got to my friend's place, didn't notice it. The second they got in my car, it's like they unleashed the piss demon. All of a sudden, all at once, it hit me like a fucking brick. Like a train had left the station, a bullet train, and it was hitting my bladder. There was no putting this genie back in the bottle. I was going to tinkle, it was just a matter of where. In my nice trousers, in a dirty bathroom somewhere on the way, or on the side of the road. The last two options weren't exactly options because to get to the bar you had to go over this pretty long bridge and there was no way I was going to be able to hold it through the duration of the bridge, so I'd be just trapped like a prisoner in its cell in the car just urinating all over my friends, or I'd have to hold it and literally cork my cock and I'd probably fucking drown internally with urine pouring out of my mouth like I just swallowed a cyanide capsule of urine. It was just a nightmarish situation because I really had to go. So I informed Tiana, who was now driving, and I told my friends, look, I'm sorry to be an inconvenience, but we got to pull over somewhere to go to the bathroom because I'm going to literally ruin our happy hour and turn it into the not so happy hour by coating this entire car in piss. So they understood, but the problem was there really wasn't anywhere to stop. There was no real gas stations on the way to the bridge, so we'd have to go out of our way to find one for me, and my friends didn't really want to do that, so they're trying to encourage me to just go piss somewhere next to a dumpster around some of the dilapidated buildings, because the area on the way to the bar looks like it's been hit by a nuclear missile, but I didn't want to take that chance, because a friend of mine got put on the sex offenders registry for public urination. He got caught while peeing next to a building, or on the side of a building, And I just didn't want to roll those dice at all. I bet if I had just went down to take a piss by a building, a fucking cop would have popped out of a bush in a ghillie suit and said, "Gotcha" on me. I didn't want to, risk that at all. I'd drop trow for 1 second, just unzip, and all of a sudden a police car fucking drift in sideways, just sirens blaring, and then take me down just for public urination. And then all of a sudden, bang, I'm a sex offender. I just didn't want to risk that at all. I didn't want to take that chance at all, so that was not an option for me. We were going to go out of our way to one of the gas stations that I knew of, and it wasn't that far out of the way, so it wasn't a huge inconvenience, but I still felt bad. Unfortunately, the gas stations were of no help, and also the gas stations look like something straight out of the Fallout universe as well. But the first gas station we go to, everything looks okay. There's a bathroom there, which is a plus. It's one of the bathrooms that's on the outside, so you need a key to get into it. So all confidently, while I'm like basically grabbing my cock, just trying to keep everything where it needs to be before I explode with urine, I go in there waddling in and I say to the guy, "Hey, look, I've got to use your shitter. Can I get the key to that bad boy?" And he's not all there. He sounds like he's one Xanax bar away from just total overdose and collapse. So I couldn't understand most of the words he said, but he kept mumbling about the hot dog man. I didn't know what that meant. I thought he was making like idle conversation. Maybe there was a hot dog vendor outside that he wanted me to go buy from before he gave me the key. I didn't know, so I asked him, "What are you talking about? The hot dog man? Who's a hot dog man? I love hot dogs, even though I fucking hate hot dogs." Just anything to get that fucking key. Felt like it was a mission in a video game that I needed to get that key to complete the quest. But so I'm making this small talk, and his answers make no sense to me. He's like, "No bathroom, hot dog man." So then I'm starting to connect these dots in my head. Okay, so the hot dog man, no bathroom. Hot dog man must have gone in there and wreaked havoc. He must have just fucking tore that bitch down and lit it on fire with an explosion from his ass or something. So this bathroom is decommissioned is what you're telling me, right? Bathroom is not working because of hot dog man. He just shakes his head, "No. Hot dog man." I felt like I was in a goddamn horror movie, as if like the hot dog man was terrorizing this area like the fucking Slender Man. I didn't know what he was talking about, the hot dog man. All I knew was I was not getting that key from him. So I walked out all disappointed because I knew I wasn't getting the key, and it's all because of this menace, the hot dog man, who I'd never even fucking heard of in fairy tales. So I had to waddle back to the car disappointedly, and even in more of a rush, the sense of urgency was overwhelming. Felt like the entire universe was collapsing inside on me. Also, as a side, there was no hot dog vendor outside. There wasn't even the remnants of what could have been a hot dog vendor at any point in time. So I don't know who the fuck this hot dog man is. But anyway, we go up another maybe mile up the road where I know another gas station is, and it's just as decrepit as this one. And this one was like a goddamn orgy of weirdos. There was one guy who I am 100% sure was on spice, because he was just fucking fumbling around. Luckily, he had hit just enough spice so he wasn't totally nude and dragging his dick on the floor, but he was at that level of spice where he can't really stand up properly, and he has a football that he's throwing against a wall and hitting himself with in the face off the rebound. So that's the kind of place we were at looking for this bathroom, and I knew it was going to be gross, and I'm a bit of a germaphobe, but I was throwing that aside because I needed to be strong, because I didn't want to piss myself, because I hadn't pissed myself in at least a long time. I don't know. I was trying to think of like an exact time I pissed myself, but it's been a long fucking time. I have a pretty clean streak there, and I wasn't about to have that collapse on this night. So we get to this disgusting gas station, and it's another one where the bathroom's on the outside, so I need to go in to get the keys. There's a guy in there playing the lottery, and he's taking a long time scratching it off. That's fine. That's not his fault. He doesn't know that I'm about to explode behind him like an IED of urine. So I'm not mad at him at all. He was none the wiser, not his fault or anything. When he's finally done, I go up to the counter. I say, "Hey man, can I get the keys to that turbo shitter? I gotta go do some business over there." He's super cool about it, gives me the keys, and I'm on my way. The guy who's throwing the football now fixates his eyes on me, and he wants to get me involved in his game. I can tell because while he couldn't really get the words out properly, he was making motions like, "I'm gonna hit you with this spiral real quick, Tom Brady style," and I just, I'm putting my hands up like, "Please, no, thank you," politely. I've got to use the restroom. Finally get around the corner to where the bathrooms are on the side of the place. There's a man asleep on the curb in front of the bathrooms. I don't know if he was passed out or just really tired. Maybe at one point he was the gate guardian of the bathrooms, but now that he found bath salts, now he just sleeps there. I really don't know. But, I go not over him because I was already on the side. I go around him, and then I finally put that key into the bathroom, and a sense of elation and jubilation just fills my whole body as I finally turn it, and I open it, and I'm greeted with the most unholy smell this world has ever concocted. It smelled like a fucking hate crime. It was the most repulsive, revolting smell I've ever smelled in my life, and I've smelled some shit. I've smelt some serious shit, but this was something else. This smelled like the hot dog man had gone there, killed somebody, and then took a shit all over the corpse. And it's really weird because the toilet itself was pristine. The toilet was clean enough to drink out of, eat off of. It was a fantastic looking toilet, not a speck of dirt or poopy in sight. But the bathroom itself was tainted with the remnants of 1,000 angry spirits that were all shitting in unison. It's no doubt the work of the hot dog man. There's not a single doubt in my mind. He must just be like a serial bathroom shitter. Just goes around shitting in all the bathrooms, fucking terrorizing them, ruining them for people that gotta pee like me. But I really don't know. Anyway, the smell was so overwhelming. For just a brief moment, I relaxed my penis sphincter, and a little bit of urine dripped onto my boxers. I don't count that as pissing my pants because it was just enough where it only dribbled out, and I was able to once again voluntarily collapse the muscle so it didn't squeak out anymore as I finally approached the toilet, and I finally released the sweet relief into the toilet, and I finally peed. I couldn't breathe. It was fucking hazardous to my health, no doubt, with all the shit particles floating around in the air, but god damn it, I finally peed. So the lesson to take away from here, just when you feel like even like the smallest amount of pee building inside of you, just piss. It's gonna get worse. You're gonna just need to pee. Don't try and hold it. Don't be a hero like I was, because you might find yourself in a similar situation where you dribble on yourself and you visit a really disgusting smelling bathroom that really just ruins your sense of smell for like a good 2 hours. But anyway, that's the story. The lesson to learn: pee when you feel like you have to, even a little bit. Don't try and hold it, because that is just absolutely devastating and leads to this domino effect of unfortunate circumstances and a lot of stress. That's it. So yeah. Many of you already know this, but magic tricks were a very big part of my childhood and even into my adult elite gamer years. In college, I was dabbling in magic tricks. In fact, the very first video I ever posted on YouTube was of myself performing a magic trick, but I've since deleted it. YouTube still has it, and I guarantee they're still trying to crack the code on how I performed it. Luckily, I deleted it though, because otherwise Randy Pitchford would have dedicated his life to figuring out how I solved that and just abandoned the Borderlands series. Fucking Randy Pitchford spent a year trying to figure out how a cam girl squirted so much. Imagine what he would have done if he saw my magic trick. The point I'm making is, magic was a huge part of me growing up. And today, I'm going to reveal to you a secret I invented myself to try and get laid in college. And this shit works like a charm. It's almost impossible not to work. You don't even need to be around women for it to work. If you just perform the trick in your own little isolation chamber, women will probably flock to you somehow, fucking rappelling down into your window. It's a very powerful magic trick, and I'm going to break the magician's code and teach you how I do it. I'm going to fucking full throttle sin, raw and no rubber. Magicians are going to hate me. Chris Angel's going to have a wet nightmare. David Blaine's going to throw in the towel and retire tomorrow, I bet. I actually taught people how to do this magic trick on my streams at twitch.tv/moistcritikal, and people haven't been able to stop getting laid. It's almost been a curse. Every time they do the trick, it's just so much pussy. So I'm going to now take the lesson I taught on stream and teach it to all of you over here on YouTube, and just hope that you can use it for good instead of evil. Now, there's an up-and-coming magician named Jerry Presley who actually performed this trick as he heard me explain it on stream. Performed it for these two women here, one of them looking like Alinity, might actually be Alinity, there's no telling, and he performs it very well and hopefully got a threesome out of it. Now, let's go ahead and get into it. First, you're going to need a deck of playing cards. They don't need to be as cool as mine, but these are my old bicycle ghosts, as they were called. Back in like 2009, 2010, there was like a really cool looking Alpha Chad magician who was like flourishing these cards one time on YouTube, and I asked my parents to buy them for me, and I got them for like Christmas or something. But you don't need to be this cool, is what I'm saying. You can just use any old piece of shit deck of cards you want. You can use Yu-Gi-Oh cards if you wanted to. Now let me give you an overview of the trick. The objective is to get a phone number, man, woman, police officer, it doesn't really matter who, but it was to get an excuse to ask for the phone number. You don't need an excuse to ask for a phone number, but when you're a fucking 19-year-old college student who's pretending to be a mysterious anime character, it helps to have a fucking excuse, because you're just a fucking weirdo. But anyway, what I'm saying is, it's to get the phone number. So I'm going to perform it kind of for you guys here. So I'd say, hey, ma'am, I like those milkers on you. Those honkers mean business. Can I have your phone number for the sake of this magic trick with my ghost cards? And she'd be like, oh my god, are those real ghost cards? Jesus, I'm already wet, but yeah, show me the trick. So she gives me her phone number. I now send her a text with what card she is going to pull from this deck, and I'm going to give her a free choice of it, but she can't look at that text message till it's over. So I say, hey, you can't look at that, but just wait till after the trick, and it's going to blow your asshole wide open. It's going to be the coolest goddamn thing you've ever seen in your life. So, it's just small talk a little bit, and then I get to the trick. I just ask her to cut the deck, or I can flip through the deck. It doesn't really matter. But the deck ends up getting cut in two like this. It doesn't matter where. It doesn't really matter. And then I go ahead and put it on top of it so they know there's no trickery here. And then I let her take the card off the top because this is where she cut, and she takes the card, and it's the 7 of clubs. Okay? And I've texted her that already way before the trick even happened. So now the question is, how did I know that? Am I truly just the messiah of magic? The mind freak of madness? The torpedo of trickery? No, I'm something more. I'm a gamer. So my trick is literally one move and then just distracting the person. A single card force. Every card trick ever done pretty much uses a card force. What's a card force? It's exactly what the name implies. You're forcing someone to pick the card you know. The easiest one, the one I always used, was you'd close your eyes, you'd rifle through the deck of cards, someone would tell you stop right there, and you always know their card. That's the 4 of spades. It doesn't matter when you're doing it, it doesn't matter how many times you do it, you can just endlessly do this shit for as long as you want, because you're forcing the cards. Stop. Oh, Jesus. Stop. 6 of clubs. You can always know exactly what card you're forcing on someone. How does that one work? You know the bottom card. So when you rifle through, they say stop, you're pulling the bottom card off, well, as long as you have a good grip, and you're always going to know exactly what you're giving them. I invented my own card force, though, and it's even easier. And I swear to God, I should have gotten a Nobel Prize for this discovery. This shit is almost as important as discovering gravity. This card force is a game changer in Magic. So all you need to know is the top card, 2 of diamonds. That's the top card, and that's the card they're going to pick 100% of the time in this trick. So you text them 2 of diamonds once you get the number, because that's 100% what they're going to pick. And now all it is a matter of distracting the person you're doing the trick to. So you have them cut the deck if they want to themselves and make another pile of it. They can ask you to, if they want you to cut it, you can cut it wherever you want. It doesn't matter where the deck gets cut. So let's just say for this time it got cut right down the middle. So now you have these 2 piles. They now give you these 2 piles, and now you start making small talk and moving your hands around. Sports, porn. Then you take this part, which is where they actually cut. This is what their card should be. But now you've distracted them enough, you've wooed them over enough where you put this on top, and then you set the whole pile down so that way they have the illusion that you're not messing with anything. Oh, my hands are over here, I can't do anything now, nothing crazy going on. And then you tell them that this card is where they cut, and hopefully they don't realize that it should be this one. So then you take this piece off, you have them take their top card, and of course it's the 2 of diamonds, because it's just the fucking top card, but they don't know that. They think this is where they cut when they had free choice, but it's not, because you have outsmarted them. You are the intellectual of the group. You're the enlightened Reddit atheist of this shindig. Again, I'll demonstrate. Top card, 6 of hearts. You say, hey, listen, lady, cut this shit. I've already sent you a text. I know what you're pulling. They cut it. Bang. You get 2 piles. You're distracting them. Bang. Put that shit on top. Take your hands off. Tell them that's the card. They pick the card. 6 of hearts again. It's incredible how simple it is, and yet nobody ever figured it out. Ever. And no one could figure it out unless I told them. Because this trick is beyond intelligence. This has transcended magic tricks and become a cult movement in and of itself. It is fucking phenomenal. So please, ladies and gentlemen, after having revealed this remarkable secret, a top secret government secret, please use it responsibly. And when you use it, make sure you tell them it came from me. And then you link them to my Twitch channel and my YouTube and stuff. You give me credit for this discovery, this trick, because it's fucking huge. I'm unironically proud of that trick. I actually did get a few numbers with it. I never did fuck all with the numbers, but just the fact that it even got to that point and they could at least fake excitement and wonder from the magic is enough for me. And maybe it will be for you too. Maybe this will launch your social life or destroy it, one or the other. But yeah, that's about it. That's my big magic trick that I invented. So yeah. Collecting figurines is absolutely fucking massive right now, and for good reason. I totally get it, but I myself have never really collected figurines, and I thought, well, let's see what the joy of these is like. Let's see if I can feel that euphoria by unboxing some hentai figurines and see just what it awakens inside of me. So let's go ahead and just start this right away. I'm ready to come in raw and no rubber. So the first hentai figurine we'll be looking at is Ron Weasley from the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. As you can see, the packaging is quite nice. You have Ron pretty much anywhere you look on all dimensions here. You even get a little brief lore update on Ron in the back. Kind of just who he is, you know, kind of his place in the Potterverse, as it's called in the business. And they're really just kind of giving this away at only $9.99. I found this at a GameStop. I know many of you are probably shocked that that shit still even exists, like the brick and mortar GameStops. That thing sounds like something your parents would tell you about when they were a child hiking 30 miles to get to one. But now let's go ahead and break the seal on here and see what kind of gold we're dealing with our first figurine. Well, I immediately ripped the box. That's fine. I don't think J.K. Rowling's necessarily going to be too upset. She probably already forgot who Ron Weasley was. Oh, look at this. Ron out here stuck in the prison of Azkaban. Let's go ahead and free him from this. Get him a nice spot on my desk or something like that. This is like some nice ASMR, you're welcome. Getting a little 2-in-1 here. Some nice unboxing with some nice ASMR. I'm fucking natural at this kind of stuff. Look at that. Could you ask for something of higher quality? It looking like it's made out of Play-Doh and melted down a little bit because it was out in the Florida heat for too long. Oh, that's fantastic. Ron has never looked better. You even got Peter Pettigrew resting on his shoulder there. Spoiler alert for any Potter fans that aren't caught up on the deep, expansive universe. But yeah, that right there is not a rat. That's a full-grown man that he sleeps with Ron, according to J.K. Rowling. So that's just awesome. That's great stuff. I'll go ahead and set Ron over there. And now we have my favorite one. Look at this bad boy. Now, if you want to talk about quality packaging, just look at that. Oh, that pristine face. The side there, you even get a little action shot with the fleshlights in mid-combat. The backside, a little monologue there, as well as some nice fleshlight martial arts, which I have mastered. Oh, that is just a fantastic looking toy. I could easily see myself jerking off on top of this one, caking it with cum. I know there's a huge Reddit community for that kind of thing, and man, I would just be honored. I just look at this. Just look at this shit. Oh, just take a look at that bad boy. Easily could replace the G.I. Joe and the Barbie doll. Oh my god. I wouldn't be surprised if Walmart approached me and was begging to just fill the stores with almost nothing but this. That just looks absolutely fantastic. This is more than just a prototype. You can get this U2's right now. It released today at 9/27/2019, a day that'll go down in figurine collector history. I'll put a link in the description. Look at these bulging lats on the back. Just very eerily similar to real life. Unfortunately, the biceps aren't as big as mine in real life, but I couldn't expect them to get those dimensions right because it's probably impossible. There's probably not enough material in the world to capture that on a figurine. But look at how beautiful that looks. That one's going right next to Ron Weasley. It looks like a tech deck, dude. I could easily see this popping on a skateboard and ripping some gnarlies in a competition in the late 90s. Absolutely superb. What else do we have here? I really rated a GameStop for this. We have Sword Art Online girl. Here's hoping she's of age, but even if she's not, there's easy workarounds. A 9,000-year-old demon just happened to be stuck in the body of a 14-year-old looking girl. Lolly shit, I'm sure most of you are familiar. Let's go ahead and get in there. I myself don't really watch Sword Art Online, so please don't insult me for not knowing which character this is and which one I'm about to jerk off to. Having a real hard time getting this open. Oh, there we go. Oh my god, now this is just... I gotta say, this is disrespectful packaging. It's like it's a fucking sarcophagus. They just wrapped her up in here like a tomb, a coffin. As if a vampire is in here just trying to hide from the sunlight. This is just low quality. Absolutely despicable how they're treating my fair maiden here. Don't respect waifus, is basically what I'm being told here. But that is a nice thing to open it up to, just straight ass. Exactly what you'd expect from a hentai figurine. Exactly what you would want from a hentai figurine. Let's get in there. We've got a platform for her. This is nice. And then they put little air holes in there so she can breathe, so she's not suffocated, not like a hitman execution or anything. That was at least thoughtful. I just wish they had shown her a little bit more respect when wrapping her. There we go. Oh, yeah. Look at that. That is high quality work as well. You can see a lot of attention to detail here with some ass crevices. Just look at that. Very slightly lifting it up. A tasteful amount. Oh, that is fantastic. Let's pop her on the platform here. Almost got her. She doesn't really snap into the platform as well as I would like. Seems like the dimensions are a bit off, but I can make it work if I just stretch her out properly, and trust me, she's gonna get stretched out anyway. There we go. Look at that. Another high quality figurine. I can see why people might be getting into this pretty hard in 2019, especially with work like this. This is just, that is spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. She's going right next to the critical U2s. We've also got, of course, the classics, the Tracer. I'm surprised the box itself isn't crusty with ejaculate, with how wild people go for Tracer. So let's go ahead and pop open this. Overwatch itself is very dead, but the porn community is very much still alive. So there's still a market for this, I'm sure. Jesus Christ. Alright, we're pushing the point now. Almost in, and there we go. Look at that. That's a lot of attachments there. I can put the guns in if I want to, but I don't really think I need to. Let's try and squeeze her out here. Wiggle her out. There we go. Check that out. Look at this. Even moves around and stuff. This is a little more than a figurine. This is kind of like a pseudo-action figure. Like she can do little karate moves. You know, see this? And then, like, here comes the... Oh, watch out. It's the Fleshlight Master. He's pushing point B. Bang. But then I come back and I still take point... You see what I'm saying? You can have her, you know, stretch out and, you know, do all these kind of things. She was in Ready Player One, so... This is Tracer of Ready Player One fame. See all these cool tricks she can do? And then, like, a full split. Actually, they have, like, a full splitting mechanic built in. Look at that. You don't see many action figures being able to bend this way, and I bet you can imagine why they designed her this way. That is great work. I'll set her over here. And, well, the last one we have to get through is a classic that I think everyone here is going to recognize. This... Oh, I didn't even show the packaging. Whoops, I just started ripping. It's Vegeta. Everyone's favorite man in hentai. I remember all the old AMVs off LimeWire where, you know... Set to Linkin Park, you got Vegeta and stuff. In the end, it doesn't even matter, because you'll be a figurine in GameStop for $6, you know what I mean? There we go. Gotta say, it's not the best pose. More like the taking a shit pose. He's a little too low. Well, it's not the best figurine I've ever seen, but I haven't seen many either, so I don't know where this would rank on the tier list. He comes with like an attachment here that goes up his ass to stand him up, but I'm not gonna embarrass him more than he needs to be, because this is already kind of a shitty pose to begin with. So not exactly the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme of my figurine collection. Granted, it is still new, so I'm sure I'll find worse ones out there on the market, but of the 6 or whatever I have right now, this is definitely the lowest tier. Which is a shame, because my boy Vegeta doesn't deserve to be represented in this negative fashion. Well, he didn't stand up very well. But anyway, yeah, hey, well, thanks for tuning in to my figurine unboxing. Yeah, that's really about it. Take it easy, everyone. See ya. Today I got an email that really kind of enlightened me on a certain subject. It was a nice email, but it started with a, "Hey Charlie, one of the few females here that watch your content." And I threw my arms up in the air and had a little bit of a giggle. Haha, it's a good joke, but I'm sure a lot of women watch my content. If I had to spitball it and throw out a ballpark figure, I'd say maybe 30% female to 70% male. You know, so I decided to investigate a little further to find out the exact number. So using YouTube's advanced demographic analytics, I found that it is a remarkable 8% female viewers. That's not great. That's not ideal. Brazilian fart porn has more female audience than I do. but it sounds about right the more I think about it. In fact, that's probably more than I should expect with the kind of content I make. It's often testosterone fueled for big muscly men like me. I make videos talking about the first time I tried to suck my own penis, so it really does make sense that it's kind of low. But I thought, you know what? I'm gonna make a video for the 8% that are watching. What do women like on YouTube? I'm really not sure, clearly, but I do know that they like Jeffree Star's makeup. So I went out to Ulta and I bought Jeffree Star's newest palette, I think. I don't know, just I saw a Jeffree Star thing and I bought it. And this is going to go out to the 8%. I'm going to do my first makeup tutorial. So let's get right the fuck into it. So here I am introducing the palette. I'm recording the audio after the fact because I record these videos on my iPhone. So the audio quality sounds like shit, as if I'm talking to you through a walkie-talkie underwater. Now, I didn't know this going into it. In fact, I didn't know until after I finished and my girlfriend finally told me that this is not like a general makeup kit. This is all eyeshadow. I didn't know that, so keep that in mind when watching this. Now, it comes with this cool little mirror. I didn't use the mirror very much, but I could see it being useful. Like, if you squat over it, you can get some, like, really good shots of your taint, and you could really see what's going on down there. But I really don't see myself using it other than for that purpose. I can see why people would, though, for beauty on the go. I could imagine it'd be great for traveling. Now, I also like how each of these flavors has their own little name. For example, the first couple all say, "Welcome to my channel," each word being a different color. I think that's very nice. Now let's get into it. Now, I asked myself, what would Jeffree Star do? Keep in mind, I don't know much about makeup application techniques, so I'm kind of just using this little paintbrush here that I found downstairs and kind of just slapping it on my nose. I didn't know much about makeup in general going into this, and I don't know much about makeup now after finishing it and getting my feet wet, but I wanted to ask myself what would Jeffree Star do in this situation, so I went for really bold approaches with my makeup, because like the back of the box says, he's all about bold statements. So that's what I tried to make here. However, the silver wasn't really, showing as prominently as I wanted it to. I was hoping I could look like Larry the Lobster from SpongeBob when he's the lifeguard. I wanted it to fucking glow, but I couldn't quite get that effect. So I gave up on the silver and I moved on to what was called Millions in the palette, which just looks like a glittery gold. I thought maybe I could apply the glittery gold to my overall base face and then maybe carve out a nice little color, a nice contrast on my eyes for the shadow. It didn't really work out as intended because, again, using the brush to apply the glittery gold, it just wasn't getting it on thick enough. I really wasn't feeling the full effect. I wanted to look like someone had just robbed Fort Knox and stolen gold and then painted their face with it. I was trying to look like Austin Powers Goldmember's wet dream, but I wasn't getting that effect with the brush. So I graduated from that and moved on to something a little more heavy duty. I was using a cotton pad. And let me tell you, this bad boy was really getting the job done. This bitch was working overtime. I was putting healthy dollops of this glittery gold on my face, and that shit was sticking like glue. When I felt pretty confident that the gold layer I'd put on my face was really showing nicely, I began working on my eyeshadow. I wanted something to contrast with the gold, so I grabbed a very bold pink. Now, it's worth noting, I don't know which palette this is exactly, because on the box it says Morph. I don't know if that's the brand or who publishes it, because someone at the store said this is the Jawbreaker palette, so I'm just really confused on what Pokemon I have here. But anyway, whether it's the Morphology, the Jawbreaker, it doesn't really matter, because I really committed to this pink, and I just, due to my inexperience, I couldn't really get it on the eye the way I wanted to. I couldn't cover the whole eye. So it just looks like Ed at the end of Ed, Edd n Eddy after one of his Jawbreaker scams goes awry and the cul-de-sac beats his ass. I just look like I've been into a fight and my shit's been handed to me. I also had the stupid fucking idea of putting green into it to try and make it look like a G.I. Joe or something where I'm wiping camouflage on me, but it ends up just looking like fungus as if my bruise has been infected, so that didn't really help with the look overall. So then I just gave up on that and I went back to pouring gold on my face. I know I called this a makeup tutorial, but it's more like a makeup review and how not to apply it. I kept throwing this gold on here, and I had to put a lot of force behind it to get it to stay, and the problem is there's glitter in the gold, obviously, and that glitter is really fucking abrasive. It's like running little pieces of broken glass across my skin, but I really committed to it because I was pretty impressed with the way that it looked, and by the time I was done, I looked like the bronze kneecaps. I look like one of those street performers that spray paints themselves gold and pretends to be a statue, if that performer fell into actual liquid gold and then someone dumped glitter on their corpse. I then thought to myself, anyone can throw glitter gold eyeshadow on their face, that doesn't take a whole lot of talent, so let's try and do something a little different by adding a different color. and it just became another one shade of this color. I grabbed a really harsh pink and it didn't blend as well as I thought it would, and I may have gone overboard because by the time I was done I looked like Red Skull from Captain America. I looked like someone had peeled off all the skin on my face. I was indistinguishable from a third-degree burn victim. I looked like a victim in one of those horrible New Zealand PSAs, like, you know, the fucking work safety ones, except this safety one would be about wearing sunscreen. I looked like Kirby got into a knife fight. I looked like a piece of bubblegum got sunburnt. But by far the worst part of this experience was trying to get all of this off. It took me a lot of scrubbing in the shower, and by the time I think I got it all off, I couldn't tell if I still had the pink-red shit on my face, or if my skin was bleeding. But overall, I'd say the palette has a lot to offer anyone of pretty much any taste, whether you want to use it as eyeshadow or just... You should really only use it as eyeshadow, as what I'm learning from this experience. There's a lot of different touches in there. So in my now professional makeup review opinion, I'd give it a solid 10 out of 10, to be honest. That's it. So yeah. Yesterday, September 20th, 2019, was a historic day on the internet. A day where the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Yesterday, we celebrated our Internet Independence Day. It's actually the president's speech from Independence Day. I memorized that shit because I fucking love that movie. Obviously, it's a little different here. We're not fighting aliens. We're fighting robots at YouTube. Either way, the statement stands. Yesterday was massive. I made the video talking about YouTube and the whole verification scheme they were running. Little Ponzi scheme they tried to slip into our drinks trying to roofie us with that garbage. And then, only an hour after I posted that video, Susan goes on Twitter and makes 2 updates saying they are reversing the changes. Now, am I saying that my video is the reason Susan changed her mind? That's exactly what I'm saying. But this is huge for the internet because everyone banded together and actually made a change on YouTube, which has never happened. In the 13 years I've been on YouTube, not once, not a single time have I seen them reverse an update or a change they've made. And I mean that in no exaggeratory manner. I have never, ever, ever seen them reverse even the most counterproductive and just batshit insane fucking lunatic ideas that they pass on this site. I've never seen them backpedal on one until yesterday. We just chipped the Titan's armor on this one. It's unreal. That, you know, gamers, sometimes we don't always get victory royales, you know what I mean? Not every time gamers go out there, we win. Sometimes we get rejected to prom. Sometimes we get rejected to prom 3 times in a row. You never know. Gamers sometimes lose, but in this case, the gamers just fucking swept it. We just got a big dubski. The only time I've seen gamers even come close to winning something this big is when they visit my streams at twitch.tv/moistcritikal. Stream daily, baby. Fuck yeah. Why this is a huge deal isn't just that they're reversing an absolutely stupid change that they were trying to push through. It sets the precedent that maybe when we do offer advice and complain about some garbage shit that they throw out there, they might actually start to listen now. This shows that Susan is receptive to feedback. In the very least, she sees it. That's massive. That's absolutely massive, because for the last 13 years, it's basically just been coming into the ocean. You're never going to find it. No one gives a shit about it. It's not going to make any difference. No one cared until Susan makes it clear yesterday that they're about to start, at least hopefully. I'm still just blown away by this shit right now. I think I'm in a wet dream still. For 13 years, YouTube could literally drone strike an orphanage in Nebraska, reducing the whole facility to ash, rubble, and corpses, and they wouldn't apologize for it. They wouldn't do anything to, you know, improve their brand image or anything. They just waited out and hoped people just didn't give a shit after a certain period of time, and it always worked for them. But now, on this, for some reason, they actually decided to be human about it. We're sorry, and we're going to listen and revert these awful changes. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. YouTube has always been one of the most unapologetic, unhuman companies on the internet. It's fucking Skynet pre-alpha, basically. Just purely machine run, only numbers crunching and shit like that. But now, somehow, we've finally gotten them to listen and do something about the feedback that they're given. It's amazing. I'm still semi-chubbed from all of this, and it's been almost 12 hours now. It's just, I'm just so excited because maybe now, they will listen to shit. That's obviously wishful thinking, probably won't happen, and they're still going to roll out horrible updates, but maybe when they're horrible and people talk about them, Susan will go on Twitter once again and, you know, flash her tits to the world. Listen, I'm here for you. I'm changing this shit. Maybe Susan's the goddamn hero that Gotham really needs right now. I'm excited for what's going to come from YouTube now. For the first time in a long time, I'm very optimistic with where YouTube is heading. Just from this one simple gesture. Look how simple this was. Susan makes 2 tweets and now all of a sudden I'm on her side. And everyone seems to be on her side. Because that's all they needed to do for 13 fucking years to not be labeled a shady, shitty, slimy company with less integrity than a meth dealer. All it took was this one simple gesture to just turn all of that around, and it's such a nice breath of fresh air. Swallowing wet farts from YouTube for so long and finally getting what seems to be like a little bit of humanization from the company is fucking fantastic. And that's all I wanted to talk about. And great job, everybody on the internet, for all banding together to fight for what you believed was the right course of action for a platform that has never once looked at you as anything more than a number in the laboratory at the YouTube HQ. But maybe that will all change now with Susan at the helm. Maybe our voices can be heard and they'll stop pushing out horribly shitty updates. Yeah, I mean, if they just stop making horribly shitty updates, we wouldn't even need to be worrying about complaining and getting listened to. Just make better decisions, I guess, would be the ultimate solution to this garbage. But anyway, thank you, Susan. Appreciate it. And thank you, everyone out there. That's about it. So yeah. You know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to get out that tinfoil butt plug and put it deep, because we're looking into more YouTube conspiracies. This one's not exactly a conspiracy per se. That's not the nomenclature I would use in this case. In a nutshell, what's happening is YouTube is changing their verification criteria, and they've decided to de-verify a large portion of their verified creators on the platform for really no reason. No one understands why. There's really no reason that anyone can pick apart as to why they're removing verification from users. And I thought, as the ace detective on YouTube, it was my responsibility to kind of figure out why this is happening. I'm like the fucking Jessica Jones of YouTube, but with shorter hair. That's the only real difference. So I'll start by saying, yes, my channel is losing its verification status according to this message I got on YouTube, which I find odd because their new criteria isn't that different from the criteria of ye olden days, and it's not exactly like we're living in the wild, wild west of chaos with check marks everywhere. It's pretty fucking hard to get verified on YouTube as is already. In fact, you have to perform, well, you don't have to perform magic tricks or anything, but you have to submit like 3 different forms of identification. A friend of mine who has a bunch of subs way over the required 100,000 cannot get verified and hasn't been able to in 8 months because he needs like 6 different passports, 5 different aliases, a doctor's note, proof that he has a patent on technology. It's weird. The requirements are already astronomical. So the fact that people are verified is pretty rare these days anyway. So to take it away makes no sense whatsoever until you get into the conspiracy side, which is where I'm about to shine, baby. I'm about to rub those nipples really hard with some theories. So the main reason why anyone can pick out why they would de-verify people is because they want to take away verification from people they don't support on the platform that might be a little problematic for them, a little too hot and spicy. That's one of the leading theories right now. But that theory kind of falls apart because channels like Tearzu got their verification taken away, which, you know, that's about as innocent as it gets. That's just kind of fun little gaming biology lessons and such. But what if gaming's the problem? Gamers may be rising up too hard. Maybe they're getting erect too fast. Maybe gamers to YouTube are the enemy. You see, if you look at it through that lens, then that makes perfect sense why Tearzu, of all people, would also lose verification. If you look at everyone else, a whole bunch of channels from a whole different spectrum of content are getting their verification taken away. So it's really hard to kind of lump it all together and figure out why. That is, until I sat down with a pipe in hand, open bathrobe, and semi-chub and really used all thousands and thousands of IQs of my galaxy gamer brain, channeled every ounce of brain power I had, firing every neuron, all synapses going nuts on all cylinders, and I came to a conclusion on why they might want to redo verification and take some away. It's to promote big business. That's why the Jimmy Kimmels, the Jimmy Fallons, the Jimmy Bobimmies, the Jimmy Timmies, and the Jimmy Timmy Power Hours, they want the brands, they want the companies to be the very few people that are verified, perhaps. And that makes perfect sense and very much in line with YouTube's more recent policies and stances. They want to be more like TV, a fucking dying medium, a dead medium, fucking put it 6 feet under in the grave, TV's dead. They want to be more like that, and they're speed running the dead business ideas. They're not going to die, by the way. That's just being exaggeratory. YouTube's probably too big to fail, but I like to toy with the idea that they're really trying to kill themselves in a really fun way. And this is definitely one way of doing it. You want to take away verification from people that aren't big brands and may be considered problematic. Yeah, that does make sense, because then you have the big brands as the only verified people, and it's a lot easier to find verified people than it is to find unverified channels on the platform. That's just a known fact. An unverified channel has a much lower chance of getting recommended than a verified one. It's just been proven a whole bunch of times. So if you're going to weaponize something on YouTube to kind of take your first steps into the battlefield of making brands the reigning king and take down the creators, the first step would be verification. It makes it harder to find a channel, and it also makes it easier for people to impersonate a channel, which means the audience gets divided, and then all of a sudden, it's a war of attrition. You start losing audience members because they think they're following the real one, but they're following a fake one. Shit gets really confusing really quickly because the verification is kind of important in that aspect. It's very easy, like I said, to impersonate. So when you don't have that there and you can't get it because you're not a big brand or a big musician, you're kind of fucked if someone wants to take your identity online. And check this shit out, it goes deeper. I'm connecting all the dots. I'm seeing all the strings that this puppeteer is making us dance with. If you combine this decision with verification removal with the most recent update that fucked creators right in their tight buttholes where they abbreviated public sub counts, you've got a recipe for fucking disaster. You got a recipe for chaos. You see, back in the olden days, at 100,000 subs, you could apply for verification. These days, you're not getting it. You damn near need to have to hop on a Skype call with YouTube reps, clap your ass cheeks together, and bark like a seal and beg for verification. It's really fucking hard, damn near impossible, like I said. But let's say you did get it at 150,000 subs, you're pretty safe. You're not going to get impersonated successfully. But now that you lose your verification and your public sub count is abbreviated, it's really easy to impersonate you. Very much so, because your sub count isn't immediately visibly available to see. It's now in a less visible spot, and it's not as long. So you don't have the exact numbers. You just have it abbreviated, which makes it a shorter number. So if you click on your impersonator's channel and it's a lot less subs, it still kind of looks similar to yours because the amount of characters it takes up there is pretty close. So it's going to be very confusing, and especially on mobile, ooh, baby, you're going to have a real rough time not being verified. Shit's just going to be weird, I think. At least going by my conspiracy theory calculations, and I like to dive really deep into these things. Obviously, it might not be this sinister, but it's super fun to think about it as if it were. And it's even still, being totally real now, dropping all the sarcasm and all that shit, it makes no fucking sense. Why remove verification from people? YouTube gets shit on by everyone. Even the #1 content creator shits on this platform. People make fun of this platform. Other websites shit on it. Why do you want to just be the punchline of every joke, YouTube? You're just a cum dumpster of insults and the poster child for anti-anything. You suck to the people. You really do. And it's shit like this. You just keep digging your own grave. They say that this is supposed to help with confusion, but what's the logic of this? We took away his verification to help people find you. Now you know who the real one is, right? Well, no, because you removed the verification. It's counterproductive to what you're saying you want it to do. It makes it more confusing. It makes it harder to see who the real one is. It just makes no fucking sense. It's so fucking dumb. You want to rework verification? That's totally fine. Go for it. But why take it away from people that already had it and it was already working for them? It's super stupid. Super dumb. But yeah, thanks for tuning in to more conspiracy theories, baby. Fuck yeah. That's about it. See ya. Ah, shit. Almost threw up from the stupid update. Deepfakes are evolving incredibly fast. I'm sure most of you are familiar with what deepfakes are, but in a nutshell, it's basically taking someone else's face and putting it on someone else's body, but it's not as amateurish as Photoshop. This is as convincing as it gets. It uses machine learning techniques, and it's really hard to discern what's real and what's fake because it also uses audio as well. It can do both. And in a world where people don't really look into the things that they see online, just take it all at face value, shit's about to get really confusing. Right now it's mainly used for porn, taking people's favorite actors and actresses and putting them in porn scenes to just kind of jerk off to that fantasy. And it's really impressive how far this is coming along. I still remember when deepfakes were in their infancy, like still level 1, fucking tutorial level shit, not really convincing. People would send me deepfake porn of me in the scenes, and it wasn't very professional at the time. I could clearly tell it was fake. You know, I'd wiggle my finger, hey, wait a minute, that's definitely not me. I never did anything like that. It doesn't even look real, because the light didn't reflect off me in the right way. and also the actress that they plastered my face on. You could kind of see the outline of where I was thrown on. So I looked like a Halloween mask, and she was trick-or-treating for penis instead of candy this year. It just didn't really feel like genuine. I don't think anyone would be convinced that it was me doing that. However, now that same underground community that keeps deep faking me onto porn sends me shit these days, and I'm like, damn, when the fuck did I do this, huh? Was I drunk or something? I have to really like second guess myself sometimes when I get sent this shit. But at least now, if I ever do get into porn and I don't want to really admit it, I have a really good scapegoat. I could just say, hey, shit's deep faked. We've seen it a million times. That ain't me. I'll wear like baby oil on one of my cheeks so the light really gets reflected off it hard in a real scene. But I'll be like, hey, look at it. It's artifacting right over there. Look at the cheek. That makes no sense. My skin doesn't do that. It's nice to have like this fallback in case you ever do some fucked up shit. You just say it's deep faked, I guess. But it's really scary what could happen with deepfakes. It could get really confusing and really messy quickly for a lot of people. But until then, let's make fun of some really goofy deepfakes. I got sent one in an email the other day, and I thought it was the cutest goddamn thing. Someone deepfaked Keanu Reeves' face onto my body during one of the videos I made where I was showing my dogs a cutout. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. In fact, everyone in my life and on the internet thinks that I look like Keanu Reeves, but personally, I don't see it. I think I look more like Zayn Malik of One Direction mixed with a little bit of Brad Pitt with a hint of The Rock thrown in there. I don't see the connection between my appearance and Keanu Reeves, but even still, I take it as a compliment. But anyway, I have this cardboard cutout, and the dogs, my dogs Kata and Tetra, freaked the fuck out. They were terrified of Keanu Reeves. Kata even pissed immediately out of fear. There are good deepfakes and there are bad deepfakes. What we're looking at here is a great deepfake. I look like someone just entered the big head mode cheat on 007 GoldenEye for the N64. I look like an Oblivion creator character that's glitching out. The shadows for some reason are so strong here, it looks like Keanu Reeves has been dragged across mud on the ground and now his face is all swollen. He looks like the blueberry girl from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory moments before she exploded. This is like the Doodle Bob version of me. This is the sleep paralysis demon that the real Keanu Reeves sees at the edge of his bed. This just looks like an unholy fusion of me and the Babadook. My face looks like it's been poorly cel-shaded in a Telltales game. Now obviously this here, as an example, isn't exactly the top limit of what deep faking can do. It's just a fun little goofy one that I'm sure he threw together pretty quickly. So I'd like to thank Mr. Baconman17 for this deep fake. It's pretty fucking cool, I guess. Anyone's welcome to deep fake me and shit if they want. Maybe I'll like deep fake review occasionally or some shit like that. Because I find the whole thing extremely interesting. We're on the cutting edge of incredibly futuristic sci-fi technology. Pretty soon with this kind of technology, we could quite literally have Abraham Lincoln acting beside Marilyn Monroe in a new Terminator movie. An entire movie made completely with AI technology like this and have it convincing as if Abraham Lincoln was really acting with Marilyn Monroe. The possibilities with this technology are unbelievable, but they're also extremely scary. But until it gets scary, I love looking at these fucking goofy deepfakes, so that's about it. So yeah, when it comes to the wonderful world of cinema, there's only one universal truth, that The Mummy with Brendan Fraser is the best movie to ever hit the big screen. Aside from that, shit's wild. People have all types of different perspectives and opinions on movies, as well they should. However, there's one very incorrect opinion on movies, that they can't have a good villain, where if your villain isn't just like a comical mustache-twirling bad Dr. Robotnik, then your villain is problematic and a plague on society. Not a new movement or anything, but with the new Joker movie, this whole perspective has been cranked up to the 10th level, engaging deep space turbo hyperdrive shit. People are outraged about the Joker being a well-designed villain and the protagonist of the movie. This is something we've talked about on the podcast, but I keep getting emails about it and being asked about it during streams at twitch.tv/moistcritikal, and I thought, fuck it, I'll make a video talking about it, because I do feel kind of passionately about this. I like when a movie does something different. Having a villain as a protagonist, it's not different. Shit happens all the time. That's a very common thing. But for some reason, in this case, it's totally different, because now it's the Joker. It's too extreme now. The Joker's gonna unite all the incels together, forming like a Voltron force of pure virgin weird energy. These incels are gonna watch Joker and be inspired to stop sniffing Dorito powder with the lights off in their hentai masturbatorium, to go out in society and be degenerates. It's just such a fucking reach, and when I say people are outraged, it's mainly journalists, and journalist is a very generous term for what their profession is these days. At this point, they're basically just tweet compilers where they'll grab a random fucking tweet and write 2 sentences about it and slap it on an article. That's the whole goddamn thing. But we live in a society meme, unfortunately, where people can't separate fiction from reality. There's just this good chunk of people, the same chunk that argues video games cause violence, and if you play one violent video game, you're 60 times more likely to go down the street and slap someone's ass and call them a noob. It's this idea where you become what you interact with. You can't separate the fiction from yourself. When you watch a movie, you become the protagonist, you get inspired by the protagonist. For all intents and purposes, you are relating very hard to the character. So in this case, they feel the Joker being the villain here, a very bad villain, people are going to become that very bad villain because they're watching him on the screen. It's pretty sad how journalists think people as a whole are so fucking stupid that they shouldn't be allowed near anything negative because they might take it on themselves. And yes, I know people have been inspired by shit, including the Joker before, to do horrible things, but that's just psychopath people, outliers. People got inspired by fucking Slender Man to try and murder people. There's nothing you can do if someone is a psychopath and susceptible to something like that. You shouldn't just restrict the whole idea of presenting a villain that's well written. It's just very restrictive and just so fucking stupid, and it's insulting to culture as a whole. It's the same arguments people made over a decade ago where they were saying Marilyn Manson is the one who's causing people to worship the devil. If you play Marilyn Manson's music backwards, you can hear Satan farting on the track, and it's brainwashing the youth to have them kill themselves and commit heinous crimes in society. Get rid of Marilyn Manson quick. It's like they just want to wash away anything that's not fucking Paw Patrol and Finger Family videos. And people say this a lot. There used to be a time where if you didn't like something, you'd just say, hey, that wasn't for me. I'm not going to see that. I'm not going to promote it or anything like that. But that's never been a time in our history. Anytime someone doesn't like something, they rally very hard against it. Even a decade ago with GTA Vice City, there was a huge movement of mothers against GTA, where they'd say, this cannot happen, my son's gonna go out, steal cars, and fuck bitches all the time and commit crime. And they'd try and lobby to get GTA taken off the stores. It's always been there. It's always been a part of our society, where if you don't like something, it's not enough to just say, not for me, didn't like it, won't really be sharing it with anyone. It's always been, didn't like it, gotta go, censor it, get the fuck out of here. It's not allowed to be out there because I didn't like it. And I think that's the worst mentality to have. I think it's very important to say, I didn't like it, but I can see why people would like it, and they should have the option to see if it's something that's for them. Just wasn't for me. I wish it was more accepting in that capacity, but it's never been like that. And I don't know why people look on it like the glory days, where all of a sudden people were so accepting of, yeah, I didn't like it, that's fine, you can like it. That's never been the fucking case. I'd argue now that's more the case than it's ever been. But you see all of this, since everyone's so connected on Twitter and shit, you're constantly being shown these fringe media posts and people going really hard against something and lobbying really hard to get something taken down. So you see it more often, but I would say it's not as prevalent as an issue as it used to be. Which is a great thing, I suppose, but the Joker one is a little different. This one's pretty fucking massive. And when I say most people, I am once again referring to like the same usual suspects, your fucking Vices and shit like that, writing these clickbaity pieces about why the Joker's going to be the one that leads to World War III, as if this fictional character has that kind of real-world implication possibility. It's just silly. It's fucking silly, and that is my perspective on the Joker drama. I think people need to be more ready to open themselves up to maybe something a little different. In this case, it's not even fucking different. It's just a villain as a main character. He just happens to be a pretty well-known villain and a pretty well-written villain. That's about it. So yeah. When I talk about the sport of darts, do you think of seasoned athletes that have trained their whole lives since birth with their God-given talent to take it to the professional dart stage? Or do you think of your college frat bro douche friend who goes to the bar, gets absolutely annihilated, throwing darts at a dartboard, trying to impress girls, going behind the back, hitting the bouncer and getting kicked out? Probably the latter, right? Darts is a sport that gets put in the same category as things like bowling and curling. Yeah, to some people those are sports, but to the majority of people, there's something fun to do while you're piss your pants drunk. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but I thought, what if I broke down darts to a fundamental level and reimagined the entire thing? And that's exactly what I did, and now I present to you a sport that I've created using the similar fundamentals as darts that I think can be the next big sport. We could see it all over ESPN, maybe in the Olympics in a couple of years. The sky's really the limit for what I've created here. Check this shit out. I call this sport flarts. It's fleshlights and darts mixed together, forming a perfect symbiotic relationship, using the fleshlight as the potato cannon, basically, for the darts. Now, obviously, the first step is to lube up your instrument, using whichever you prefer, but making sure that it gets properly lubricated, otherwise the dart's just not going to fly through it. Now, initially, I wanted to fire the darts out of the fleshlight vagina using my mouth, kind of like a blowpipe. However, I underestimated the intensity in which I'd have to blow through the pipe. Old school RuneScape convinced me it was fucking easy, but it's not easy at all. And I also underestimated how yucky the taste of the lube was in the fleshlight. Every time I put my mouth to the fleshlight, it tasted like I was swallowing chlorine gas mixed with bleach. So I decided the best way would be to treat it as if I was Legolas and shooting an arrow, so I knock it and fire that bitch real fucking hard. Yeah, it didn't work at all. I expected it to be kind of like a railgun, but this shit just didn't even get anywhere fucking close to that. The best I managed to do was have it dribble out like a small little sad cum shot, so I had to get creative. Much like Icarus, this dart had flown too close to the sun, and I melted its wings off. I thought maybe if it didn't have the wings on the back, I could fire it kind of just like a pencil through a rubber band. It still didn't work. I decided to mount the fleshlight to the end of our dog blow dryer, which is basically like a fucking hurricane, it's so goddamn powerful, expecting the air pressure to launch the dart through the vagina. Really? Yeah, it didn't work. I thought making it like a Ghostbusters proton pack launcher or some shit, it would fire the dart, but it didn't. Not at all. Then it hit me all at once. During the apex of my disappointment with the experiment, I hatched the idea. Why not just throw the dart and fleshlight together as a unit, javelin style? Why didn't I do that from the start? That's fucking awesome. And that's when we realized you don't even need the dart for flarting. You can just use the fleshlight. Do I even need the actual dart? Ready? Mm-hmm. Behind the back. Recently we had a nice little circle jerk talking about Blockbuster, going over everything that made it great, why we loved it, and also everything that led to it eating such fat shit in the end. And I thought, well, if we're talking about dead businesses, we might as well talk about the most recent and modern example, Tumblr. Blockbuster died with its boots on, whereas Tumblr died with its condom on. Blockbuster went out with a sad whimper and a pathetic puff of a wet fart, whereas Tumblr literally shit itself out of existence. Blockbuster couldn't adapt to change, and Tumblr forced change, which ended up killing it. Or, I'm gonna say killing it loosely because it's not exactly completely dead. I'll get into that in a little bit. But why are we talking about Tumblr and putting it in the same league as Blockbuster? Well, it's because this week it was revealed Tumblr was sold for less than $3 million to WordPress when it was bought by Verizon in 2013 for $1.1 billion. That's a pretty fucking significant difference and a huge loss that they're just biting the ass on. So let's go over the entire history of Tumblr and how it got to this point. So Tumblr was founded in 2007 by David Karp, the primary purpose of the website being blogging. It wanted to be the best blogging site it could be, and during this time period, blogging was the shit. Everyone was doing it. Every middle-aged soccer mom on the planet had her own blog. 2 kids, red wine, just fine. A blog adventure by Sandy. And I'm not just saying it was only for boomers, the older generation blogging. During this time period, everyone was. Kids, teens, tweens, adults. Everyone had their own blog to put out their uniqueness, talk about their day. And David Karp envisioned a world where all of that would be on Tumblr. And to a certain extent, he was right. Tumblr became the hub for most blogs. And Tumblr had a very unique advantage over pretty much every other website in existence. It was extremely anonymous if you wanted it to be, which is by far the biggest contributing factor to the website's success. By being anonymous, people felt much more confident posting on it than they did Facebook, because on Facebook it's attached to them directly, and their real-life friends and family see it most likely, so people don't want to post their deep, dark secrets and fantasies on there, whereas Tumblr, being anonymous, is much more appealing to something like that, to get it all out and put it all out there for people to see, without having to feel worried about someone judging them or being a real-life consequence for what they put out there. And also, on Tumblr, there really wasn't a whole lot of ways for people to interact with each other directly. Commenting wasn't exactly a huge thing. The main way you'd interact with a post is through reblogging it yourself. So people would really only see the positive things where people are reblogging their stuff. The more they share, the more reblogs among the same people, then you have an entire community form around it. And there was a community for pretty much fucking everything on the planet. If you had a fetish for the Ninja Turtles fighting crime while wearing diapers, there was a Tumblr crowd for it. If you wanted to read and write poems about the extreme dinosaurs fighting the Ninja Turtles in dirty diapers, there was definitely content for that as well, whole communities. The point being, on Tumblr, there was a community for everyone, and every community was welcomed, which was both a great thing and a curse, like having a dick that's too big, where you can't get laid because it's too scary, but also having the prestige of having a massive dick. It's a double-edged sword. By welcoming all of these communities, it eventually led to Tumblr falling into hot water and eventually leading to where it is today. Not exactly dead, but not exactly... it's dead. No, yeah, pretty much leading to its death. But anyway, within the first 2 weeks of Tumblr's launch, they had 75,000 signups. It hit the ground running, and it wasn't long after that it established itself as the biggest player in the blogging space, as well as really just kind of fan art in general. By 2012, it was beating Instagram and Pinterest in monthly viewers, and in 2013, it was bought by Verizon for $1.1 billion, but they kept David Karp on board to keep things running smoothly, which it did. For the most part on Tumblr for the users, it was business as usual. There wasn't any radical changes under the new ownership of Verizon. However, the identity of Tumblr was slowly changing. Whereas before it was more focused on blogging, now the tone was shifting where it was mainly focused on adult content. Porn, fanfic with massive cock and balls, a lot of niche porn communities and fetishists used it. It was basically home to pretty much anything adult-oriented, and that was massive for it, leading to 640 million monthly visits by July of 2018. It only continued to grow over this tone shift. However, this was pretty detrimental to Tumblr as an advertiser, because no one wants to advertise, fucking Ford right next to Batman bending over a rhinoceros with a veiny cock as comes pouring out of the rhino's mouth. So most advertisers were hesitant to advertise on Tumblr with all of this adult content because, in general, on the internet, most advertisers aren't gung-ho about it. I'm sure a lot of you watch YouTubers, and a lot of them talk about demonetization if you say fuck too many times, or if you put out a combo of words like fuck ass or ass fuck. Sometimes that'll even be enough to scare advertisers off. Tumblr had that times 100 million. It was very hard for them to find advertisers after their initial Adidas deal in 2012. They struggled very hard in that department, and in 2017 is when things really did start to change a little bit for Tumblr. In 2017, David Karp leaves, and by 2018, they start to notice things are a little bit wrong with the site. There's some very degenerate communities on there, and then in November of 2018, the final nail in the coffin strikes where it's removed from the App Store because child pornography now has a home on Tumblr, and that was a huge issue for obvious reasons. And then, the story in December 2018, December 17th, they outright banned porn and overly adult content nudity. That's really when Tumblr died. That's the day the fat lady not only sung, but shit her pants for Tumblr. That was pretty much the end of an era. Up until this point, everyone, myself included, and if you say you didn't use Tumblr for porn, I know you're lying to me. Everyone was using it to find good porn, or even just look at the GIFs, and that was enough. It was the go-to for any type of fetish, anything. It always had all of the adult content, and that's what its identity really became. So when you took that away, you had to know it wasn't going to bode well for the site, and only days after the announcement, its users dropped by 30%. And nowadays, most people don't even talk about Tumblr outside of Tumblr unless they're pissing on its grave. But the interesting thing is, Tumblr's not dead. Tumblr is still getting, as of August 2019, 380 million monthly visits. So I have to wonder, why the fuck did it sell for less than $3 million with that kind of power? That's still a massive site. And also, who's still using it? Because, like I said, it's not really talked to outside of its own website. Most of the people that were power Tumblr users, huge blog masters, guru gamer assassin Tumblrs, have moved to other sites, Twitter, DeviantArt. They take their talents elsewhere. There's really no one left on Tumblr, so how? How is it still so massive? And I've looked for the last couple hours and I really can't find where it's coming from. I have to wonder if it's like a giant fucking conspiracy or something from David Karp, like he set up a fucking Bitcoin mining farm but for mining views on Tumblr. So I have to wonder, what fucking idiot made this deal for Verizon if Tumblr is still pulling these kind of numbers to sell for $3 million? It makes no sense, unless there's more going on under the hood, or maybe if it's just as simple as the executive was, coming into work after a fat key bump of coke and injecting meth directly into his penis veins, and he just, stumbles in, Tumblr, I'll give it to you for $3 million and you kiss my wife on the lips. Deal? I just don't get it. Maybe it was a huge accident like in Rocko's Modern Life where Big Head accidentally bankrupts the entire company. I just don't understand why they would sell it for so low if these numbers are accurate, which multiple sites say they are. It's fucking wild to me. So it's not exactly dead if you're going by just pure volume. There's still clearly a lot of clicks coming through on Tumblr, but outside of its own website, it really doesn't seem to have the same impact that it used to. Whereas people were always linking to Tumblr shit, talking about it, and using it, mainly for porn, almost exclusively for porn towards the later span of its life. And there's nothing wrong with that. Bring back porn on Tumblr, and you'll probably revive Tumblr if I had to guess. But under WordPress, I don't think that's going to be the case. But anyway, that's the history of Tumblr and the death of Tumblr. Though it's not exactly a death because it's still super popular. It's kind of like in Hey Arnold with a Dino Spumoni faking his own death. It's kind of what Verizon's done to Tumblr. Ha, we only pretended to kill it. It's still popular, just not as popular. Which was surprising, man. I really can't express how shocked I was by the numbers it's pulling after the huge blow it took to getting rid of adult content. But anyway, that's it. That's the story of Tumblr. So yeah. Forged in Fire is an absolutely fantastic show that was unfortunately stabbed in the back by History Channel. You might remember when I made a video complimenting History for their decision to upload full episodes of the show to YouTube. Well, mere hours after I posted that, they made the inexplicable decision to remove every single episode they ever uploaded and haven't uploaded any more since, except for these like fucking 5-minute montage bukkake highlight money shot reels, which is cool and all, but it's not nearly as good as a full episode that you get invested in the characters and the lore and shit. So yeah, History. You can take the forge away from the man, but you can't take the fire away from the man. I've still had that insatiable thirst for more blacksmithing, and to get my fix, I actually teamed up with a contestant from the Forged in Fire TV show, who teamed up with a friend of his to bring together the ultimate weapon. So this is a creation by Ryan and John, expert blacksmiths, who combine the two most powerful elements on this planet, swords and fleshlights, and I'm going to be putting this weapon through my own series of Forged in Fire tests. Now just take a look at this boner-inducing beauty of a weapon. Fun fact, the second I got this out of the box, its coffin, I cut myself on it trying to set it down, so this bitch is sharp as shit. Could cut through the space-time continuum, the fabric of the universe, and create a little portal. Oh man, but just enjoy this eye orgasm made from the finest Damascus steel on this side of the solar system, imbued with the tears of 10,000 neckbeards crying out in unison for the blade to guide them. There's no delamination, smoother than butter across my ass cheeks, and it feels so nice to touch. It's as if it was lubricated by unicorn semen. And the fleshlight guard which keeps it all together is nearly pristine. It's seen minimal use and the clitoris still very much intact and only minor amounts of crusting from ejaculate past. It glistens in the sun and achieves a perfect balance that not even Peter Dinklage in Infinity War could hope to forge. This blade makes Excalibur look like a piece of shit, and it's all thanks to that rubber vagina. Vaginas are known for giving life as babies pop out of them, but now this vagina is giving death as a blade pops out of it. Test number 1, can it execute a flying watermelon? Yeah, you bet your fuck it can. A quick demonstration of my blade expertise as I perform a sacred Blade Works dance for you all, just to demonstrate the difference in our power levels between you and I. I'm doing this so I can show you that I am a professional, and thus you shouldn't try any of these stunts with your own weapon at home. Just demonstrating its sharpness.
Why did you do that?
Now, as many of you know, when it comes to sword works, there's a lot of different stances. This one is a forbidden stance known as the golfer's swing. As you would expect at my level, it was a perfect slice. Caveman style. This is how they used to mow the lawn back in the day. Just a fleshlight, a blade, and a dream. I've named this sword Virginity Apocalypse, and this is the only test it failed. It could not slice through a tennis ball, and in fact I accidentally baseballed one over my neighbor's fence.
You're gonna break your sword before you break that.
If it dies to the tennis ball, it wasn't worthy of my expertise anyway. You can't beat the classic paper test to demonstrate the blade's sharpness, which obviously the Virginity Apocalypse passed with flying colors. Just general ease slicing through it. It's just incredible. A perfect slice right down the middle on an airborne target. You should expect nothing less from me, especially with a blade like this in my hands. Now this concluded all of the tests. I couldn't get my hands on a ballistic gel dummy or anything like that, so this is the best I could do. However, after a long time of judging and thinking it over, I've concluded that the Virginity Apocalypse is Season 1's Forged in Fleshlight's champion. So, big round of applause for Ryan and John for creating such a fucking awesome blade. Hopefully there'll be more contenders in the future from all of the world's best blacksmiths, all coming to create fleshlight-themed weapons. That doesn't always have to be swords. Maybe we could have, like, fucking rocket launchers shooting explosive sex toys. The sky's the limit. Now that Forged in Fire, for some reason, wants nothing to do with YouTube, it's time for Forged in Fleshlight to become the premier go-to for blacksmithing and sexual desire, I suppose. That's about it. So, yeah.
You've been raped? No. You should be.
This guy who looks like the result of a botched fusion dance performed by a colonostomy bag and a sloth is Only Use Me Blade. Now I'm sure some of you are thinking Brian was just telling a really shitty, edgy joke, but it's not. Brian, Only Use Me Blade, has a history of sexually harassing women during streams, and earlier this week found himself under more controversy during an RV stream where it appears he gets into a bed with a passed out drunk woman and thrusts. This is all allegedly, nothing is 100% proven, so keep that in mind. All of that in that department is alleged. He is a downright deplorable, revolting, adipose astronaut, a downright shit stain on the internet. He is easily the world's worst streamer. He is a raging alcoholic, serial groper, just groping complete strangers, and just, he's an animal abuser as well. All of these, all documented. I'll show you what I can. Let me give you a brief history of Only Use Me Blade. Only Use Me Blade rose to popularity during the early days of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. His shtick was he was only using a knife to get his kills, and he did well in the game, but his popularity faded as the game's popularity faded, and he didn't adapt very well. He got big into alcohol and then started streaming. The only reason he maintained even a very small audience is because people were laughing at him. They liked to see him get drunk and fall asleep, well, pass out, hurt himself, stumble around. That was the only thing that people tuned in to see. He's a degenerate loser. In fact, he was banned on Twitch because he got so drunk he started fingering his asshole for a $20 donation. The only reason people have ever tuned into Brian's stream is to watch him pass out and compete with each other to see who can wake him up with the loudest noise through the computer. That is Brian's whole identity, his legacy. And I'd feel bad for him, but it's hard to feel bad for a skid mark like this guy. Now let me show you his follow-up to when he recently groped a woman on stream and she called him out for it. This is his perspective on it.
I just have a lot of love to give. So if some random fucking ugly whore bitch gets groped, she gets groped. Accept it. You should be fucking welcome, whore. You should be fucking welcome, whore. Seriously, you should be fucking honored that I would ever grope you, you stupid bitch.
What a class act. This guy is the exact person your parents tell you never to end up like. You can genuinely smell him through the computer. Brian struggles with alcoholism, obviously, and it's so bad. He's 36 years old and looks like a fucking walking corpse already, but it's so bad that he has to wear diapers because he frequently shits and pisses himself, and he's been shown on stream putting on his adult diapers, and they're fucking massive diapers. It looks like something that you could put a whole goddamn Ford F-150 into, because this is a big boy taking big shits and big peepees when he's blackout drunk. Now, let me get to the animal abuse.
Alright, let's go. I didn't like it.
Animal abuse is all the rage from internet creators these days, and Only Use Me Blade hopped on that bandwagon early. You got Brooke, the girl that put her dog into the dryer. You've got all of these titans in animal abuse on the internet, and Only Use Me Blade was kind of the pioneer who really kicked it off. He's done more than just that, but that was the first clip that I could find, and I didn't really want to go through his entire catalog of absolutely deplorable, disgusting shit. So I think you can pretty well understand how he feels about animals and how he treats them when he's around them, even though he himself is the most vile animal on the internet. Now let's get to the most recent thing where this grotesque dump truck appears to have non-consensual sex with a passed out drunk woman. Now keep in mind, nothing has been 100% proven, so this is all alleged. The incident occurred on an RV trip. It's a stream that they're doing with a bunch of different people. She was on the trip with them. There's multiple different camera angles, and one of the camera angles shows Blade going into the back room where the girl was passed out drunk, and he is stripped down to his boxers and appears to be thrusting on top of the woman. Now, before this alleged incident even occurs, there's a clip right before anything happens where Brian is asking one of the other men that you see in frame here if he should go have sex with the passed out girl in the back. He mentions her by her stream name, and I don't think she wants her name associated with any of this, so I'm not going to show you the clip. But to the guy's response when Brian says this is he just kind of shrugs his shoulders. Every man on this fucking RV that you see here is such a piece of shit. It's unbelievable. It's like this RV is a giant pile of dog shit, and these are just subhuman flies feasting upon it, festering in this cesspool. It's fucking gross. This is the clip where the alleged incident actually is occurring on camera. I've cropped it out so you can't see it, but just out of frame, it seems as though Brian is making a thrusting motion on the bed. He's a massive man, so you can see the covers moving back and forth, and his legs are moving quite a bit as well, trembling under the body weight that they have to support. But this alleged incident is occurring at this time in the clip. Another extremely sad thing about this whole situation is the Reddit community that's trying to defend it. It's like a propaganda machine. They released like an Illuminati video trying to debunk it scientifically, but it's really poorly made, and you can clearly tell it's made by a 15-year-old. And as you can read, their excuse is basically RV was bouncing, which explains why the covers were moving the way they were, but it doesn't explain why they were moving at the same speed and the same interval during this alleged incident that occurs, and his legs were shaking due to alcohol shakes. And then throws in like this conspiracy bullet point list on why people would be making it up, and it's obviously never even occurred to this psychopath middle school lunch table loner social outcast 15-year-old that the reason people are upset is because they feel as though they may have just witnessed a crime and a really horrible thing, because in this alleged incident the footage looks very bad and disturbing. And for some reason has these fucking paranoid gang stalking conspiracy points like, oh, they're coming after our entertainment, the normies are flooding in, white knights. It's unbelievable, and it's just fucking pathetic.
It's not rape if they don't have an orgasm. Fuck it.
And okay, I don't think if this shit is like, I don't think I should just be on stream doing this shit.
That was a clip of the girl reacting to a video that detailed the entire situation, and then she goes offline. I'm gonna give you a quick little montage of Brian groping women on stream. If you just search Only Use Me Blade, the first 20 or so results are just clips of him groping women that aren't interested in him. His name, Only Use Me Blade, is basically just synonymous with vomit and grope.
Oh my god. Oh my god, what the fuck? You can't throw me! You broke me on my head. I don't know where I'm at.
You have some big ass titties, baby. No, bring them on back. Bring them on back.
Oh yeah, it's worth mentioning, all of this is after he's purged YouTube of the clips of him groping and sexually harassing and assaulting women. Yeah, he also abuses copyright takedown shit. He is the max level of pathetic loser on this fucking planet. It's unbelievable. So, Blade, you're probably watching, if you can even keep your eyes open for this long without puking on yourself and falling over. You're a fucking menace. You fucking suck. You're a horrible person. I don't know who's watching you. Well, that's a lie. I do know who's watching you. It's the people just there to make fun of you in the stream chats, because that's kind of all you're there for, just like a punching bag for those people to make fun of you. I don't know if you're proud of that or not, but you do get donations for it that are insulting you to your face, so I guess that's cool for you too, I guess. But anyway, ordinarily I'd feel bad for someone like Brian because he does struggle with a genuine condition, alcoholism, but he uses it like a superpower to be the worst possible person on the planet and make money off. Easily the worst streamer out there. That's it. So yeah. Calling someone a Redditor to their face in 2019 is a fighting phrase. It's like calling someone a cunt back in the 90s. It's a powerful insult. And I get asked all the time why I take a shit on Reddit or shit on Redditors and Reddit culture in general. And it's days like today that remind me exactly why I have such a shit view of Reddit and why the majority of people have almost no respect for the community. They are so goddamn unhelpful. Now, I'm saying they, and I'm a very frequent user of Reddit. I go on there almost daily. I like the posts. I like to go on specific subreddits and see the kind of shit going on in the world. I think as long as you don't go in the comments, it's a pretty goddamn decent site for the most part. But it's the second you accidentally get a little too adventurous, or perhaps you just forget the one sacred rule on the internet, the 11th commandment from God: don't go to the comments section on Reddit, because it's just goddamn embarrassing to even look at. It makes you feel bad for being on the site, seeing the mentally ill, socially rejected, downright depraved community that for some reason all kind of festers in the comment section on any post ever. Professional Reddit commenters who farm karma as if they're some type of drug kingpin and get this superiority complex. They watch 2 episodes of Rick and Morty and follow Bill Nye on Twitter, and all of a sudden they think they have all the answers and they're better than the person who initially posted the thread asking for help. Fucking Reddit commenters make YouTube commenters look like sane, cool kids at the lunch table. Okay, so why am I talking about this? I'm still fucking upset about this. Today, Andrew and I went to Beef O'Brady's, as is tradition after a hard workout, and Andrew's car had 2 spiders in it that we came across, so he wanted to look for a solution online as to the most efficient way to getting rid of the spiders. A little pest control action, just Google it, because that's what a modern man does. That's the efficient way of getting answers. Well, unfortunately, Google recommended Reddit threads. Our pro-sage life advice from a 14-year-old, how to do your taxes and get rid of the spiders in your car. Shit like that. Just a flurry of all of these Reddit posts addressing how to get rid of spiders. Now, at the time, we didn't even realize how infuriating that would be. But when we got to beefs, we opened one of the links, and immediately every single top comment was a horrible, stupid fucking joke that's been said a million times before. Set the car on fire. I'm not kidding. Out of the 5 or 6 threads, that was pretty much the top on all of them. I'm going to show you 4 out of the 6 so it's not just overly redundant. I swear to God, these are all different posts and different people. Although they're not even really different people. They have no sense of individuality. They're just fucking regurgitating, vomiting, ass shitting out all kinds of shit that they read a million times before to try and farm that precious karma or make people think that they're a good comedian. I really don't know. But this is how all Reddit comments go. You go to the comments, the first like 15 are going to be shit jokes that don't make you giggle or exhale at all, only serving to make you just irate because you maybe wanted a real answer or a real discussion, and you're not getting it. Not in the comment section on Reddit. But anyway, here's the first thread. How do I get spiders out of my car? Obviously the first answer, burn it to the ground and change your last name. A real side splitter for sure, not exactly helpful, but god damn it, that comedy is unique, original, wacky, and zany. And that's gotta count for something, so the updoots to the left, am I right? Edit, thanks for the gold, kind stranger, wasn't expecting this, oh my gosh. Edit 2, wow, platinum, holy shit, time to add chocolate to the milk and go wild to celebrate, kind stranger. Now let's go ahead and scroll down, surely it's only, the top comment that has such a great joke. Surely they can't all be busting out unique bangers. Surprisingly, that joke didn't spawn a pun thread, but luckily for us it didn't. Underneath that, though, we're gifted with another great joke. Put some tarantulas in there to eat the smaller spiders. Large spiders are easy to keep track of. Well, I do tip my fedora to that one. Still no actual advice yet. A classic double whammy. It's an Ultima. Fire is the best option. Fill it with frogs. Well, my gentle sirs, these are quite comedic. Finally, at the very bottom of the page with a whopping 2 points, an actual suggestion, glue traps, and a link to them. Now actually unironically helpful, that's not a bad idea. Glue traps for insects, it makes sense. But what do the other experts on the website say? Let's go to another thread, which is basically just a carbon copy of this one's commenters. Different threads, same comedy baby, because for some reason all Reddit commenters are basically just carbon copies of each other. Go ahead and take a guess at what the top comment's gonna be. Spoiler alert. It's fire, because of course it is. On Reddit, everything that even deals with anything even yucky to the smallest degree, anything with an insect, you can guarantee the top comment in the thread is going to be, kill it with fire, or something with fire. Next highest upvoted, I believe ammonia and bleach create chlorine gas. You're right. So if you want to go World War I on their ass, that might be an option. To be fair, this comment actually has sentimental value to me, because I accidentally created chlorine gas when I tried to kill a cockroach once. I talked about that in a video, so that one I don't really have a problem with. I just thought I'd point it out. Luckily, right under that one, we go right back to the standard, set it on fire. I like the reply, lol, as if they'd never heard that before, or perhaps they just always laugh anytime they see that. Next, nuke it from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. It's their car now. Scorpions. Definitely scorpions. That's another big one. It's theirs now. They own it. You lost it. Shit like that. That one's also just as common as fire. So I guess it's not exactly a 100% guarantee it's going to be set it on fire when it's dealing with insects, because it has to compete with it's theirs now. Those are always battling for the top spot. GIF of a car on fire, snakes, sell it, elephants, get some funnel web spiders and dump them in and eat the other spiders. And then one guy accidentally almost lends some pseudo advice, but his advice is basically just saying, you might be fucked. None of this helpful, of course, but very humorous, obviously. New thread, same top comment, gasoline, and says light it on fire in the reply. Milking every ounce of karma he can out of that joke, I guess. Bye birds, lady who swallowed a fly, just more fucking garbage. This guy really drops a fat comedy routine on this one. Release a snake to catch it, then you're gonna want to lock a mongoose in there for a few days to kill the snake. Once that happens, you need a large mammal like a wolf to get the mongoose. After this, you'll need to find a gorilla to let loose in the car. They're excellent at wolf wrangling. Come winter, the gorilla will just die off from the cold. Which is more than the guy underneath him who actually lent a little advice received. Nothing a good car fire won't fix. It just goes on and on and on. While I think absolutely the jokes suck ass on their own and are used a million times ad nauseum, I'm not here to just be the joke police. What's frustrating is when you're looking for real answers like we were today, and all you get is the same goddamn middle school lunch table joke that you've heard ever since you were a goddamn child and seen on every thread ever posted on the website. Burn it with fire. Get a snake, lol. It's their car now, lol. Epic lol, thanks for the gold. It's so frustrating. And that's only scratching the tip of the iceberg, the tip of the wiener on how just frustrating and stupid Reddit comments are. That's throwing away witch hunts, which are huge in the comment sections and 9 times out of 10 are wrong anyway, a la Boston Bomber. That's the biggest one. That one Reddit will never live down. It's just this most hostile place and the most humorless place on the internet. Fucking Twitter comment threads that are just GIF responses and shit pictures are more entertaining than seeing the same fucking joke every single time at the top comment in the Reddit thread, the top fucking 20 comments. I mean, if you want to make the dumb joke, burn it down, kill it with fire, lol, do that, and then after that put a period and then real advice, which admittedly some people in these threads did, but they were buried at the bottom. Buried. Giving real advice? No. Give me that same stupid goddamn joke. But anyway, that's about it. Just wanted to vent about it, because today I was getting frustrated for Andrew, with Andrew. Just so dumb. It's so stupid. Just racing to tell the dumbest fucking joke that everyone's already heard a million times on the goddamn website. Anyway, that's it. That's why Reddit's reputation in the comments is pretty goddamn awful. So yeah. A couple nights ago during a stream, I was asked a very flattering question in between the normal questions I get during streams like, why are you short? Does your girlfriend peg your asshole? Do you wish you weren't short? Someone asked me if I'd ever considered stand-up comedy. It's super cute and super sweet you would ever even say something like that, very flattering, but the answer is no. I don't really like stand-up comedy. I like the greats like Mitch Hedberg, Dave Chappelle, Norm Macdonald, Amy Schumer, really. But other than those legends, I just don't really like stand-up, especially the Netflix specials. That shit's pretty goddamn bad for the most part. They give it to like everyone, like introducing Phil, a friend of the janitor who works at Netflix, who told a joke one time at Starbucks and the barista laughed. And here he is with his Netflix special, Fillin' Holes, or some shit like that. And it doesn't exactly have me doing big old hearty belly laughs, ho 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 ho. I just don't like stand-up, I really don't. That being said, I did write a stand-up routine a little while back, and I don't say this lightly, but this genuinely might be one of the most powerful pieces of human work that has ever been put onto paper since Homer's Odyssey. I'm not going to share the whole stand-up routine with you, but I will share the intro. I'll honestly probably just save the whole routine to try and sell to a shitty or struggling comic like Dane Cook or something. Maybe he could revitalize his career on the back of my incredible routine. But anyway, here's the intro. Hope you're ready for some gut-busting, side-splitting comedy. Actually, you just reminded me of something. Delirious, I wrote down, like, this was like at 4 a.m. I'd been drinking, and I saw this the other day, I wrote down like a pseudo stand-up routine, and I found it pretty recently. I'll read you the first part of this. It seems we have a bunch of couples in the crowd tonight. How do we feel about children? I put in parentheses, crowd goes wild. Yeah, make some noise if you like kids. Crowd continues cheering. I say, you pedophiles. That's a fucking banger. I might use that at some point. I think that's gold. That right there is gonna launch me. Launch my career right there, I'm telling you. But it's entirely reliant on the crowd going wild when I talk about children. So it's really hit or miss. Last night I had a peculiar dream. I was shopping for movies at a Blockbuster. A store I haven't thought about in years. A store most of you probably haven't thought about in years, and some of you probably don't even know existed in the first place. A lot of you probably only know Blockbuster from Fortnite. I know a lot of the younger generation thinks Fortnite invented the Blockbuster myth, as if Blockbuster is Hercules or something. But it was a real thing and a big part of my childhood growing up. I woke up from the dream immediately after finding the movie and in cold sweat and wet pants because I remembered Blockbuster and all the great things about it. Nowadays, the Blockbuster buildings look like a fucking relic of the Fallout universe. They're dilapidated in shambles or changed into something else. You'll only find used needles there from the drug addicts, or you use it as a place to meet up with your dealer who's your shady cousin and he does business by the dumpster at the old Blockbuster. It's gone. It is a dead business, and the only real example that I can think of a business that level, $6 billion worth, just crumbling in a hurry. They fucking speed ran bankruptcy. I still remember it pretty clear. I could remember one day going to Blockbuster, picking out a nice Nintendo 64 game or really anything at that matter, a movie, The Mummy, probably for the 40th time. And then the next day, all of a sudden, the Blockbuster's been burnt to the ground and the shareholders have a gun in their mouth ready to pull the trigger. I don't know what happened, so I decided today to research into why Blockbuster failed so spectacularly. Now, before going into this, I had the speculation that it was Netflix that killed Blockbuster, and spoiler alert, Netflix definitely did play a role in putting that nail in Blockbuster's coffin, driving that stake through the vampire's heart. But there's a lot more at play here. Blockbuster wasn't as dumb as I thought they were. Oftentimes it's stated Blockbuster thought that video rentals were the way of the future forever. 2,000 years from now, Blockbuster would still be a household name, people still renting VHS tapes. That's not the case. They knew times were changing, but they just waited too long. They overestimated how much time they had, but they tried a lot of different things that I'd never even heard of. So let's dive into this shit, because it's super interesting.
Mommy's doing a TV commercial!
So let's start at the beginning. Naturally, that's a stupid fucking thing to say, but anyway, it started in 1985 by David Cook, sold 2 years later to 3 investors, and shortly after, by the mid-90s, established itself as the leader in the video rental space, raking in hundreds of millions of dollars along the way. But what was the Blockbuster business model? Was there something wrong with the business model that eventually led to it eating shit? Actually, not really. The business model was pretty fucking sound in my opinion. What they did, Blockbuster would buy bulk movies, buy a whole shit ton of movies, and the idea was they would rent them out to customers until they made more money than they bought the video for by renting it out enough times. Not a bad idea. However, the big portion of their revenue, well, not the big portion, but a large portion of their revenue came from late fees. When you rented a video from Blockbuster, you were expected to bring it back by a certain date. If you failed to meet that deadline, you turn your homework in late, your ass gets hit with the ruler in the Catholic school of Blockbuster. You're getting slapped with a late fee, and they were pretty hefty fines, to be honest. Late fees racked up a lot of money for them, approximately $800 million in late fees alone in the year 2000. Now, during Blockbuster's reign, they were well liked by the majority of people. I don't remember too much shit being talked about them, except for the occasional, oh, god damn it, I forgot my overdue library book here. I've had The Mummy Returns at my house for the last 6 months. This late fee is going to shave my taint real good. So the late fees were obviously a bit of a sore spot for a lot of people, but it made sense at the time. You were renting the movie, you needed an incentive to give it back, otherwise you're going to rent it and just keep it. And that's exactly what happened, but we'll get to that later because they dropped late fees. Wild, wild west, fucking buildings going up in flames, people being slaughtered in the streets because late fees are gone. It was wild, but we'll get to that in a minute. The year 2000 was a really important year for Blockbuster because that same year, Netflix met with Blockbuster to propose a partnership. Netflix was not like it is in its current day with the streaming service. Netflix back then was a DVD by mail service. Netflix had certain advantages over Blockbuster. Blockbuster was brick and mortar. They had physical locations you'd go to, pick out your movies, rent them, take them home for the day. You could bring them back the next day, bring them back whenever you want, but you got them in person immediately, the quick gratification. You wanted a quick movie because you were about to get laid, you'd go to Blockbuster, just pick out something real quick, and you'd bring it right home. Netflix was very different. You would order your movie, and it was a subscription-based service. It'd be sent through the mail, so you'd have to wait. You didn't have the immediate gratification that you'd have going to Blockbuster, seeing the whole selection and getting what you want. You would have to wait for it to come, and you'd have to send it back, so it was a bit cumbersome for a lot of people, but it had one huge advantage over Blockbuster. There were no late fees, and since there was no brick-and-mortar shops for Netflix, it had a lot lower cost. There wasn't as much overhead, and it was a pretty consumer-friendly business model. It started to spread by word of mouth, but during the time in the year 2000, Blockbuster wanted nothing to do with partnering with Netflix. A lot of people speculate it's because Blockbuster believed video rentals in person would always reign king, but that's not the case. Demonstrated by the fact that Blockbuster did try the DVD by mail service, the on-demand service, the streaming service. We'll get to those in a minute, but they did try those things. The problem was they tried them so late. Obviously, if they had acquired Netflix, it'd be a whole different world. Blockbuster would probably be the one world government by this point. It was massive. Now, you obviously know what happens next. Netflix blows up, blows Blockbuster out of the water, and it's absolutely massive. But Blockbuster didn't think that it was going to be as quick as it was, and that was what eventually led to their undoing. Blockbuster tried a lot of different things, but while they were experimenting with new ways of veering away from their primary income being rentals, they were still opening new stores. They had 9,000 locations by 2004. Now there is a single location left in 2019, and that location is in Oregon, Bend, Oregon, if I'm remembering correctly. But what my point is, during the year 2000 to 2004, they were still opening a shitload of stores. There was a Blockbuster in every fucking square block. You couldn't throw a rock without hitting a Blockbuster somewhere. They were still expanding massively while still relying on a kind of obsolete business model at this point in time, because Netflix was proving to be the consumer's choice at this point. Growing up, I didn't know about Netflix. My parents were diehard Blockbuster fans, enthusiasts, Blockbuster foam fingers, so we stuck with Blockbuster till the bitter end. But I understand, looking at the data now, Netflix was on the rise, killing it the entire time. But the reason Blockbuster walked away from the Netflix deal is because they preferred to compete with Netflix, and they were attempting to compete. They weren't so ingrained in their ways that they weren't willing to try new things. They partnered with Enron to create a video-on-demand service, a streaming service, and it's not too dissimilar from what Netflix did. The problem was, Blockbuster didn't dive in with both feet. They just dipped the tip of their dick into the water to test it out, and while they were doing this, still opening new stores as profits were dwindling, and they didn't commit to trying this new business model, the VOD, video on demand, and Enron goes bankrupt, the entire service crumbles, and they just kind of brush it away. It's a loss, and it would have probably saved the company. They could have adapted on the curve, been ahead of the game, 2 steps, 3 steps ahead of Netflix, way fucking ahead of them, but they didn't commit because they wanted to stay primarily video rental. They didn't want to go too far out of their comfort zone, but they did recognize that things were changing. They just underestimated how fast those things were changing.
There's one near you. Blockbuster Video. Wow, what a difference.
So after the Enron experiment completely dissolved in 2001, which it was an extremely innovative idea for its time, it's a real fucking shame that it didn't jumpstart streaming videos, but once Blockbuster kicked its shit on that one, they tried again to stay relevant with the changing times in August of 2004 when they announced their own DVD by mail service. It sounds pretty similar to Netflix because it is. It's exactly what Netflix was offering, but shittier. Netflix had established itself as the go-to for DVD by mail. They were efficient, they were fast, they were friendly. They had the good graces of everyone on their side, and Blockbuster was clearly just trying to milk the tits of this cow, trying to get in because they knew shit was about to get bad for them. 2004 was the last year that Blockbuster saw profits. After 2004 is when Blockbuster noticeably nosedives. $6 billion in 2004, 2005 it drops to $5 billion, and it only keeps dropping hard as shit. Now, in 2004, they also got rid of the late fees. Going into 2005, they decided to outright drop the late fees and do an entire massive marketing campaign about the absence of late fees, which was a bit misleading because they weren't entirely gone, but I'm sure if you grew up in the 90s or even the early 2000s, you probably remember the Blockbuster commercials where you had the Twitter mob of angry people with pitchforks, pickaxes, and signs all marching towards a Blockbuster saying, we don't want any late fees, and then Blockbuster drops the thing that says no late fees, and then everyone's stunned and cheers, yeehaw. Those commercials were all over the place. This was their Hail Mary for the most part. Late fees were always their Achilles heel. That was the one thing that people didn't like about Blockbuster, but it was a necessary evil because if you don't have an incentive to bring the movie back, no one's bringing that shit back. So during this revolution of no more late fees, what would happen is Blockbuster gave you a 7-day grace period after the due date. So if you brought the movie back late, but it was within that 7-day grace period, you didn't suffer any punishments, you were let off, your sins forgiven, absolved. But if you still refused to comply to Blockbuster's demand, you were then charged for the entire cost of the movie. And that's how they were running it. And it worked to a certain extent, but by that time it was already starting to be obsolete to be renting shit in the first place because there were better options. And in a last-ditch effort to save Blockbuster's dying business model, in 2006 they launched Blockbuster Total Access. Full goatsy assholes getting fully stretched, there's no prolapse, subscription-based DVD rental online, the whole nine. The last attempt for them to jerk off and ejaculate into this market, this beast that they helped create, to try and stay a relevant company. And it actually worked for 1 year. One glorious golden year, baby, that those execs are still looking back on with a semi-chub. In 1 year, by 2006, by the end of 2006, beginning of 2007, they had 2.2 million subscribers, and they were doing pretty well. The business model was sound as well. You would order a DVD online, get it shipped to you. When you're done with the DVD, you take it back to a Blockbuster location and get another movie the same day if you'd like. So you could keep trading in movies in and out. It was efficient, it was fast, and it worked well because Blockbuster had 5,000 stores at this time. A lot of places to trade that shit in. But unfortunately, it didn't last long. And you know how the story goes from there. In September of 2010, Blockbuster finally declares bankruptcy. And it's not long after that all the Blockbusters in the world slowly start getting Thanos snapped away. And now there's just that single lonely Blockbuster left in Oregon. Blockbuster failed not for a lack of understanding that things were changing, but from a lack of recognizing the speed at which things change. They did have their foot in the door, ready to adapt with Enron in '99. In fact, that Enron deal was a game changer. Their deal was so good, it would have jump-started video streaming by 9 years. Enron and Blockbuster, Enron wanted to broadcast movies via fiber optics, so you'd on your TV press View Movie, and you would be immediately able to watch that movie on your TV, no having to go get a physical copy or anything. It was so ahead of the game, such an innovation, but Blockbuster didn't give a fuck. They didn't care enough about it, and eventually it all just crumbled. That would have been huge. Who knows where technology, or at least technology in this field, would be by now? Streaming services are only just now exploding thanks to Netflix, who got in it much later than Enron did. It's really a wild thing to think about, and Blockbuster's undoing really just came from the lack of ability to see how quick things can advance in the entire industry. Really interesting story, and I do have to say, when I think about Blockbuster, I got a tear in my eyes and a little wet spot in my shorts because it really was such a big part of growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s, and it always was a positive experience. You would go to Blockbuster and be more than just there for business, like, hey, I want this movie, or hey, I know there's tits at this scene in the movie, I want to go home and get hard. You would go there, peruse the whole store. The staff there was usually pretty friendly too. You just kind of kick back, talk about movies, look at games and shit. It was so nice. Brick and mortar's kind of going out of fashion across the globe for good reason. It's obsolete. Malls are obsolete, GameStops, all of it. There's no reason for it except to go there for the experience of looking around and checking shit out in physical form. There's merit to it, but let's be honest, being able to download something, being able to look up shit online is far more convenient, far more thorough, and just the all-around better choice. I don't think there's any chance Blockbuster is going to make a resurgence, at least not in its previous form or any form even recognizable to what Blockbuster was, but it really is an interesting view at a company that had it all and how quickly it just ate shit. What an incredible legend of Blockbuster. Please keep it in your thoughts and remember the lessons that we take away from Blockbuster. Don't make your business model reliant on fucking your customers in the ass with late fees, because it does eventually bite you in the ass when you get a competitor that doesn't have that. That's about it. Take it easy, everyone. See ya. I, like most people, enjoyed Neil deGrasse Tyson's work. I loved Cosmos, I liked Star Talk, and I thought of him as a very positive figure in the scientific community, making science fun for everyone, entertaining to a younger demographic, and just enjoyable overall. And that all changed when I followed him on Twitter. This dude's Twitter is fucking nuts. It seems like he's completely separated himself from even the most basic level of humanity. It's like he went so deep into the cosmos that he popped out of the universe's asshole, saw a bunch of shit that he didn't like, re-entered the universe's butthole like a finger during a prostate exam, and now he's just a weird Twitter lunatic. Today, in light of the recent tragedies, he had the audacity to tweet this shit out. Now, a lot of pseudo-intellectual Redditors were like, oh, why is everyone all upset? He's just spouting facts. And yes, while the statistics he lists here are accurate, although the medical death number there is a little misleading, I recommend you look into that and why it is the way it is right there. It doesn't matter because what his tweet here reads is, it basically just trivializes the mass shootings, which is such a fucked up take. It's like he's a death hipster. yeah, I was appreciating deaths over 48 hours before it was cool by the media, as he fucking smokes a joint and then sniffs his own farts. It's such a horrible take on a tragedy, double tragedy. I just can't believe that he would sit there, look up the stats, because there's no way he knew it by memory. He just wanted to compare this to bigger numbers to try and trivialize it. Like, I don't understand what point he's making, to be honest. I guess the point he's making is people are dying all the time, but we only care when the media picks up on it. But that's such a weird fucking hill to die on, because the deaths he lists here, save for the deaths via handgun, are deaths that are actively being worked towards fixing. Shit that are accidents, literally accidents. The mass shootings were deliberate attempts to kill people. People going to Walmart to buy fucking yogurt and shit getting blasted by a lunatic. I can't even believe that he would compare something like that to a car accident. It's unbelievable to me, and it made me so fucking upset because, again, I did like this guy. I haven't liked him for a little while because I followed his Twitter, but man, he is so disconnected from just actual humanity. It's sickening. It's a guy, he's like the real life Rick Sanchez with no humor about him or wit or really anything good about Rick Sanchez. The only thing he has from Rick is that he's into science and he doesn't give a shit about anything, I guess. It's just so fucking wild to me. This is actually something we talked about on the official podcast today. This basically boils down to that argument people make all the time, like, shit, I got a bad grade and, you know, I hurt my ankle so I can't play basketball. I'm not doing well. I'm going through some shit. And then your friend or someone you don't really know that well says, oh yeah? Well, there's people starving in other parts of the world, so think about that for a little perspective. You don't have it that bad, Cody. It's really not that bad compared to someone else. Just invalidating what you're going through, trivializing it because people have it worse. Which is incredibly fucking stupid because no one has the right to tell you how you should be feeling. It's like the same thing with depression. Oh, why are you depressed? You have all this good shit going for you. By that same metric, no one should be allowed to be happy except for Jeff Bezos. Because he is the happiest man in the world, so how could anyone else be happy? Oh, what are you happy for? Oh, you just graduated college? Yeah, Jeff Bezos has $100 billion. Why are you happy, pussy? Does that sound right? Let's get rid of happiness because no one's as happy and well off as Jeff Bezos. It's the stupidest fucking argument. It's downright deplorable. And it's exactly what Neil has done with mass shootings. Imagine him saying this to the families of one of the victims. Yeah, hey look, I know your son was just killed in this shooting, but did you know 200 some people are dying every 48 hours from suicide? You really shouldn't get this emotional just because it's a spectacle. Oh, thank you, Neil. Yes, I needed that statistical drop of wisdom right there. You telling me that makes it a much easier pill to swallow. Thank you so much, Neil, for your sage advice. You omniscient being of science. It's just, I have no fucking idea what you're doing with this tweet. I really just don't get it. It's so fucked up. I just can't believe that anyone would defend that complete lack of sympathy or really just lack of emotion in general. Here's some cold hard statistics that are in no way related to a mass shooting, but these are bigger numbers, so bang, I'm just gonna jerk that off onto Twitter. Enjoy my science, dick. I really just can't stand this guy anymore. His whole Twitter is like this. The tweet right underneath this one, the one he tweeted before this, also grinds my nutsack to a dust as well. Fucking mortar and pestles it into a fine powder. It's about a poster for a horror movie that has a snowflake on it, and Neil deGrasse Tyson gives this little, oh, this is a very accurate snowflake. Oh, if I was an elementary school teacher, I would be giving this one an A+. It is the most scientifically accurate representation of a snowflake I've ever seen in my entire goddamn life. It's amazing. What a snowflake. That's his whole fucking Twitter feed. He is literally the meme of, well, actually, as he wiggles his finger into a conversation. That's his whole goddamn Twitter. I know he had that viral tweet a while back, you know, when Lord of the new Hobbit movie came out, and he's like, hey, well, if the hobbits were actually this short, their digestive tract would be very small, and their shits would be only about 5 centimeters long. You know, get a load of that. They wouldn't be taking big shits at all, and their feet couldn't be that big. It was just stupid garbage nonsense. And not even a week ago, Neil deGrasse Tyson was snorting lines of coke and tweeting, melting down about the fucking Disney Frozen 2 snowflake not being an accurate representation of a snowflake. And then he, you know, makes this whole hoopla about it because God forbid an animation be a little bit different in its representation of a snowflake. So Neil deGrasse Tyson's just the preeminent expert on all things snowflake related, and shame on Disney for not contacting him about how it should look in their movie. I don't know if this was supposed to be a joke, but it doesn't read as a joke, it doesn't work as a joke, and then he goes on to like justify him criticizing it and wanting it changed. So he clearly didn't frame it as a joke. He was just like, hey, this is fucking wrong, and I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, so I'm putting my whole fucking dick in here. And I just don't get it. This man doesn't understand like humanity anymore. All he understands is garbage, Twitter garbage, and shit like that. He's a shit poster, an edgelord shit poster now. I just don't know what's gone on. He's just become, well, it's not even he's become, his whole Twitter's been like this. But he's just this fucking Twitter asshole, man. And it's super sad. But he's been like a harmless edgelord. Like the Disney Frozen 2 shit, that's pretty trivial in comparison to his tweet today. That's just downright evil in my opinion. Yeah, let me go ahead and take this stance on it where only 34 people died. Look at all these other people that have died over 48 hours. Pretty silly in comparison, right? You guys only care about the big spectacles. You're such a fucking asshole, Neil. You really are, man. Just take a step back and realize the kind of shit that you're saying and how it comes across. I really don't even know your intention behind the tweet. Some people are saying, oh, he had a good intention behind it but framed it wrong and phrased it wrong in a bad way. But I don't see how that's ever a good intention, to point out other problems that people are aware exist and are actively trying to work on, whereas mass shootings in the US are a huge problem that no one really has a solution on. So what's the point in comparing the two? There's no overlap. Yeah, they're both problems. That's the only thing they have in common. It's just so insensitive and fucked up. That's about it. So yeah. For my birthday, my parents got me a cardboard cutout of Keanu Reeves because they know I like his work, I'm a huge fan of him, and they also think that I'm his small doppelganger. My girlfriend thinks the same thing. In fact, everyone in my life and on the internet thinks that I look like Keanu Reeves, but personally, I don't see it. I think I look more like Zayn Malik of One Direction, mixed with a little bit of Brad Pitt with a hint of The Rock thrown in there. I don't see the connection between my appearance and Keanu Reeves, but even still, I take it as a compliment. But anyway, I have this cardboard cutout, and the dogs, my dogs Kata and Tetra, freaked the fuck out. They were terrified of Keanu Reeves. Kata even pissed immediately out of fear. Keanu Reeves just had this looming presence like in Hunter x Hunter, a malicious aura emanating from him that only my dogs could pick up on, and they hated it. They hated Keanu Reeves. Check this shit out. This is after first contact with Mr. Reeves. Post-piss, they're still very scared of him, still growling, barking at him. They're hiding under the desk as if it's an earthquake and they're taking precautions. It's just an unbelievable amount of fear towards Mr. Reeves. I'm gonna try and get him out of here without them freaking out. Oh god. I didn't feel Keanu deserved this kind of disrespect, so I wanted to try and get the dogs to warm up to him, show him that there's nothing to fear and that he's a good guy. My plan was to have him guard the door kind of like a bouncer, like a lacrosse frat bro. The idea being if they wanted to leave the room, they'd have to go by Keanu and they'd recognize that he's not real, he's made out of cardboard, he can't hurt you. Just like in Scooby-Doo, it's fake. My plan didn't work, they stayed in my room for 30 minutes, they wanted absolutely nothing to do with Keanu Reeves. So I thought, okay, maybe this was a little too aggressive, a little too forward. What if Keanu Reeves was there to make them feel safe, like a safety blanket or something like that? So when they went to the bathroom, I thought I could sneak Keanu Reeves in front of the door so they'd see him and be like, oh, he's watching over us, making sure when we take a pee-pee in a big old shit, Keanu Reeves is there to protect us just in case, a wild hyena jumps the fence or something. The idea being Keanu Reeves is there looking over them, an omniscient presence, a Holy Spirit guiding them as they do their business outside. So I put him in the door here. Unsurprisingly, this plan didn't work and I even scared myself. It's really weird just having a Keanu Reeves, or any cutout for that matter, kind of peeking through a window. It really adds a level of creepiness to it. And I should have learned that when I was a kid growing up. My parents had a wax figure of Humphrey Bogart, and that was terrifying to me, and I'm not even a dog. I'm like at least twice as smart as a dog, and that scared the shit out of me. So obviously this wasn't going to work. So I tried another approach. What if Keanu Reeves fed the dogs? They'd be like, oh, Keanu Reeves provides for us. He feeds us. When we see Keanu Reeves, we know we're about to get fed. It didn't work, but I thought I was making progress. Obviously that plan didn't work either, but I had one more trick up my sleeve, a Hail Mary. What if Keanu Reeves could indicate that a treat was coming? So I put a treat to Keanu Reeves' hand, and maybe they'd go get the treat from him, because my dogs love treats. I figured, if they get a treat from Keanu, maybe they'd warm up to the idea of him being there. Or maybe, even better, they'd recognize it's not a real person, it's not a real entity. Or maybe it is. Maybe it's a haunted cardboard cutout. I don't really know yet. Maybe they're seeing something I don't. But up until this point, I didn't even consider that theory. All I wanted to do was make sure that they could feel safe with Keanu Reeves in the house. This plan didn't work either. Tetra, look. Mr. Reeves has a treat for you. Come on, Tetra. Treat. Eventually I gave up, and now I just keep Keanu Reeves right here next to the food bowl like a shrine of treats. I've sprinkled a lot of treats around him and hoping that they're going to go get the treats. It hasn't worked, so I'm probably just going to abandon that plan as well. I think I'm going to have to hide Keanu Reeves from the dogs, so that way they're not afraid of him. I don't like my dogs being afraid, and I tried my best to let them know that Keanu was not there to do them harm. But it's a little surprising. Keanu Reeves is a really good dog guy. I would think that dogs would resonate well with his vibes, but it clearly isn't the case with my dogs. That's it. So yeah. Throughout my life, my beliefs on certain things have always changed, which is very natural for most people. You know, as a kid believing in Santa Claus, for example, you think for sure Santa Claus is the one leaving those presents under the tree, and that shit stain leading from the chimney to the tree is just Santa Claus. And then you learn, well, no, it wasn't. It wasn't Santa Claus eating the cookies and drinking the Bud Light you'd leave out overnight. It was your parents. My point being, everyone's beliefs change over the course of their life, and today, something that I believed for pretty much my whole life is being called into question internally within me. My faith in it is wavering, which is why I'm here in the confession booth, limp dick in hand, ready to tearfully talk about it. It's the belief that some things are too big to fail. I've always grown up believing that at a certain threshold, a company, a person, reaches this point where no matter what really happens, they're not going to fail. They're not going to fold. Now, what's made me start questioning this and really biting my ass is Ninja leaving Twitch. I believe Twitch is a company that is too big to fail, backed by Amazon, pretty much has monopoly on streaming, and Twitch is a household name. And I know that statement right there is a hard pill for some of you to swallow because there's still this delusional group of Twitch chat moderators that believe streaming is still this underground hobby that only the most elite of gamers partake in, you know, sporks in the air. But you have to face it, most people know what Twitch is and streaming these days in general. It's the new gold rush. Everyone's buying streaming equipment and shit like that. The normies are charging your gates. Epic Omega lol spammers Monka S. It's big. It's out there and everyone knows about it. And I would have said Twitch is too big to fail until today. So today, Ninja announced he's going to be exclusively streaming on Mixer, leaving Twitch behind. Obviously, Mixer, which is backed by Microsoft, paid Ninja a ton of money, an obscene amount of money, no doubt about that, so he's made the switch over to Mixer. What that does to Twitch leaves it up to speculation. It's a domino effect, potentially, where a lot of people will now go to Mixer or other streaming platforms now that they see there could be viable competition or a good livelihood on another platform. Up until Ninja made this move, that wasn't really an option. Your big streamers were going to stay on Twitch pretty much no matter what. And that's what made Twitch almost unbeatable. It's the same position YouTube's in. YouTube has a monopoly on video sharing. Your giant YouTubers aren't going anywhere because there's no viable alternatives. There's no one that has the capital to take someone off of YouTube and put them somewhere else to try and jumpstart it. But Microsoft's Mixer did just that with Ninja. So the effects are, you don't know what's going to happen, but there's clearly going to be at least a bit of a paradigm shift. Now there might actually be competition in streaming, which is great. Competition leads to improvements, and Twitch really needs some fucking improvements. I switched to Twitch last year. I've criticized Twitch a lot in the past. I talked about it a lot, very rightfully so. They deserve a lot of fucking criticism for a lot of the stupid shit they pull, but I genuinely thought they were getting better, and YouTube was gargling some fat ass, more ass than a toilet seat, so I switched to Twitch for streaming, twitch.tv/moistcritikal. I don't know if I'm even allowed to criticize them with how they enforce terms of service these days. It's the fucking wild, wild west now. Twitch has gone back to what I used to criticize them for, which is this really almost bafflingly stupid and weird selective enforcement of their rules. Like, I can't even wrap my goddamn head around what they think when they ban people or don't ban people or really any of the actions they take. The big one being Alinity. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say her name. It's like Voldemort on Twitch. You can't even mention her. Very controversial, done a lot of controversial things, but Twitch stays silent on it the entire time. Meanwhile, people are getting banned for having a Minecraft skin they don't agree with. A guy got banned because he had a split second on a Minecraft stream where he had a Hitler skin equipped, which he didn't mean to. It was an accident. It was clearly there was a joke or something, and he got banned for it for a fucking month. Their enforcement of rules is unbelievable. It's super fucking weird, and it really makes people believe that Twitch is run by people that favorite certain streamers for certain reasons. The big theory, and one that I may be behind, allegedly, turbo virgins run Twitch. That's the big theory circulating the internet, and I'm not going to say I agree or disagree. Just hitting you with the conspiracy theories, that's all. Twitch is making horrible decisions all around, and people are understandably very fed up. XQC got banned because he showed a single frame of the very unrecognizable portion of a penis. And it's because the super sleuths at Twitch went back and watched the stream to look for a single frame of penis in the stream, which they found. I mean, hats off to them. They got the evidence they were looking for, nailed him. It's just wild what they've been doing. So having competition with Twitch is absolutely great for everyone involved. And to be fair, I don't really like Mixer. I went on there today to see what it was all about. That shit's like if Fortnite had its own streaming service within the game. It's real wacky, and that shit is some Weenie Hut Jr. shit, let me tell you what. Their terms of service are unbelievably strict, at least the way it reads. That shit reads like I'm in 4th grade with like this list on the whiteboard of things I cannot do when I enter the classroom, like I have to pray before going in or something. It shit's fucking strict. There's even a line in there that says if you say cam girls, it's going to be taken in as hate speech. You can get banned for just saying cam girl. I understand you want to stop like harassment and you want it to be a more welcoming place, but god damn, that's pretty hardcore. So I don't know if a whole ton of streamers are going to go from Twitch to Mixer, if that's the kind of environment there, because Twitch, I used to think Twitch was Weenie Hut Jr., but after seeing Mixer, Twitch right now is like the fucking biker bar where people are being beheaded. At least Twitch allows you to say things and criticize things that Mixer actively explicitly says you cannot do. So, I don't know if there's going to be mass exodus to Mixer or anything, but the point being, Ninja leaving for another streaming platform shows other streamers that there are options out there. It gives alternatives to Twitch, which until Ninja left wasn't on the table at all. Maybe DLive to a certain capacity because PewDiePie's on DLive, but DLive never actively took people from Twitch to DLive. Mixer did just that. It took Twitch's biggest player, its biggest cash cow, and its biggest name. It made a big fucking crushing blow in there, a big splash. And a lot of people seem to think that this is the beginning of the end for Twitch. And to be fair, it very well could be. A lot of people, in fact, the vast majority of the hardcore users on Twitch, the ones that use their Prime every month, the ones that do paid subs to different channels every month, your really hardcore dedicated users are really fed up with the way that streamers get treated by Twitch. This really odd favoritism, this weird enforcement of their rules, and just very vague shit going all around that for seemingly no reason. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the Twitch higher-ups on the moderator team who's in charge of the bans and shit have their own private Discord just with a whole list of people they want to fuck any chance they get. That's really what it seems like to the users and the streamers. It's not the healthiest of atmospheres that they've built on Twitch, so if there is an alternative, I don't know if Mixer's the saving grace or anything, but if there is an alternative, people are probably going to start to look for it a little harder now. Now that they see the biggest guy on that platform has gone off, that kind of sets a bit of a precedent, don't you think, Twitch? Maybe it's time that you guys start making some changes. What drew me in is you initially recognized a lot of your problems and actively worked towards making them right. And then all of a sudden you abandoned that quest and went right back to your old degenerate ways. People don't like that. Most people don't like to feel constantly like there's the boogeyman looming over them, waiting to just ban them at the drop of a hat for no reason, just because they might not like them. So I wouldn't be surprised if more people did leave Twitch. If they do, I don't know how Twitch would recover, because I don't think there's a lot of loyalty to Twitch itself. People don't go on Twitch because they love Twitch. They love the people behind Twitch. They love the transparency of the platform or anything. They're not there for the business. They're there for their streamer. If their streamer isn't on Twitch, why the fuck are they going to stay there? What are they going to do? Just sit there and jerk off to just chatting streams? They're not just going to stay on your platform if their person isn't there anymore. They're going to wherever their person just went. Streaming is a really rare thing where they're only there for that person. They're not, I mean, occasionally they'll be there to peruse like a new game category, but every streaming service has that. If they're not there for a person, they can find it on another platform that they might like better. Mixer has a lot of interactive shit that I could see a lot of the younger audience really getting into, so Mixer has the heads up there if it's kids just wanting to see more games. Twitch needs to make some big improvements to keep their people that draw the audience there. Otherwise, they're going somewhere else. And Ninja making this first move is massive. Don't know if it'll outright kill Twitch yet, but it's definitely not a good sign for the platform going forward. And again, makes me feel like, you know, maybe there is really no business, corporation, or person that is too big to fail. All it takes is another billion-dollar corporation to get playing ball. Fucking Microsoft going after Amazon and making it seem like they can bleed. It's pretty fucking wild. It's pretty exciting, and competition's always a great thing. Hopefully there'll be a competitor in every area of the internet for every big platform. That's about it. See ya. Today I had the primal urge to watch a shitty movie, so I did what any 21st century civilized man would do. I attacked Google looking for any shitty movie I hadn't already seen. I was like a meth addict scratching my neck trying to get my fix, but I couldn't find a shitty movie that I hadn't already watched. And then I remembered, I'm followed by the official Max Steel movie team on Twitter. So in 2016, Max Steel, which is a beloved property near and dear to my boners, I grew up watching Max Steel. I even had the Max Steel video game on PS1 and Sega Dreamcast. At least I think it was Sega Dreamcast. I know I had it on PlayStation 1 and then another console, and I really feel like it was the Dreamcast. And I also had the Max Steel action figures, the one that you could take the clothes off and play dress up with him. And obviously being a curious child, I took his clothes off to see what a penis looked like, but they made him dickless. I just wanted to see what a super secret agent superhero was rocking under the hood. Never really got to see it with the action figures. But anyway, the point is, I was very familiar with Max Steel, but I never saw the 2016 movie because I knew it was going to be a stinker, and I really didn't want to have Max Steel ruined for me. I know if I go back and watch Max Steel, it probably sucks fat ass, but I didn't want to go to the movie theater and be disappointed. But today, I thought I owed it to the Max Steel team on Twitter to check out their movie. And this isn't like a joke. This isn't like a fake Max Steel account. This Max Steel account on Twitter is the official Max Steel movie Twitter. Look at the following list. It's just totally normal shit for a corporate Twitter account, and then out of nowhere, me. I'll fucking take it. I kept this in the wank bank since 2016. I knew the second they followed me, I got a notification, and I was elated, but not motivated enough to see their bad movie until today. So let's check it out. How bad was it? Not even 2 minutes after the near-fatal accident, Max finds himself in the garage with the girl, and there's clearly a lot of sexual tension between the two. Sound effects are a little fucked up here. I don't really understand why it sounds like a flashbang just went off. Maybe he's about to prematurely ejaculate and he's a ticking time bomb. That's what the sound effect is for, but I'm not really sure. All I know for sure is he nailed an incredible move. The old almost get hit by a car, driven by a hot babe, making her feel guilty enough to take your bike to her garage to fix it, and then you doggy style her on top of a Plymouth. Solid. Hey. Now this is odd to me because I feel like that would have been the first thing he'd do after learning his father died in an explosion. He'd probably want to know what the fuck happened. Thus, he would naturally Google it, and in this movie, their version of Google being Yahoo Answers if it was fucked by Ask Jeeves, but the point being, why wouldn't he have researched it himself fucking 10 years ago whenever it happened? I don't really understand why he was waiting till marriage to figure out what happened to his dad. It makes no sense to me. But anyway, he Googles it, gets some unexplained phenomena, as some people believe he was start flooding his mind. He learns that his father's death wasn't an accident. The rogue tornado that killed him wasn't a weather-related rogue tornado. In fact, it was an evil thing called Ultralinks. And that name sucks ass. It's not very intimidating. It sounds like a form of Yu-Gi-Oh! Summoning in a modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Format. Definitely could have been better. Something like maybe more intimidating, the Shred Terrors. The ass-annihilating Rip Von Stranglers, shit like that. Ultralink, it even sounds like a good guy, honestly. Like, it sounds like a different division of the Power Rangers. We have the Power Rangers, and then we have the Ultralinks. It's a shit name. I didn't like the name, but that's what's killed his father. He also learns Steel knew his father. He begins running away from in-tech bad guys as he's piecing it all together, where he is once again nearly slaughtered by Sophia, who then tries to use that to flirt with him, but he's too busy running away from bad guys. And then they decide to split up to throw off the bad guys, to which Steel has this ingenious idea that works like a charm. No, maybe Steel shot out the wrong car's tires, like fuck, accidentally just blew up this librarian's tires, fuck it. And then Max and Sophia escape. Sophia and Max make it to Intech, where he starts asking Miles questions unenthusiastically. Everything Max does in this movie is very bland and unenthusiastic, so when he's questioning him or just kind of talking to him, it's as if you're talking to a fucking brick wall that learned English barely. And for the 50th time, Max runs away. Super speed his ass away. Why is he jogging like he was just picked last in kickball? I don't really understand why that would be overlooked. He doesn't use his powers. This is the best time to use that power, and he doesn't. But it's a good thing he didn't, because he gets sucked into the Ultralink tornado. Super suit comes back on, and that's when they finally say it. Steel tells him,
"The Ultralink, it's exposed. Shoot it. Go turbo."
What?
Hurry before it
and go turbo he does. He turboizes that bitch so fucking hard, turbos it out of existence, using his Tony Stark heart, throwing the energy at it, and it's vaporized. Fuck yeah. God, the scenes in this movie are so fucking boring. I'm just gonna tell you, I don't even feel like clipping the appropriate scenes to explain it. We'll just get towards the end of the movie here, because we're wrapping up now. Max shoos away Steel because a vision he saw made him believe that Steel betrayed his father, so Max once again runs away, because that's the only fucking superpower he really has, the power of cowardness. He's just always running from something or pissing his pants over something, so he runs away, goes to his house, and he sees the same Intech bad guys at his house, so he assumes that the Intech bad guys are there to kill his mom. He calls Miles, he's like, "Miles, there's bad dudes at my house, they're probably gangbanging my mom, what do I do?" "Well, they're not gangbanging your mom, they took her to the old Intech facility." So he lowers defenses as the Ultralinks storm in, and then he puts on some like robo claw, like a goddamn lobster claw, except mechanical and alien tech. And Max's dad, Jim, is strapped to a chair. He wants to suck all the energy out of Jim because he was jealous of his tachyon abilities. But Jim had a trick up his sleeve. He decided to just blow his entire load, throw all of his energy into the sucking device, which overloads it and blows it up. But before that, he gives a very motivational speech to his good friend Steel before he passes.
"I can get you out. It was wrong. Listen, I can."
Jim explodes. Rest in peace, Jim, and rest in peace to any good writing. Because not only is his speech super lame and really poorly acted, but it's a giant glaring plot hole. Because Steel says that he can get Jim out. Now, ordinarily when that line's used in a movie, it's just desperation. You know, they have no way of getting him out, but they just want to try because they love their friend. You know, "Hey, I can get you out, no problem, bro. We'll kick some mean keg stands afterwards, huh?" But here, Steel absolutely could have gotten Jim out, and it's proven in the next scene. So the bad guy comes in, evil Power Ranger suit, evil villain speech. Jim, as Steel said, but Jim just actively declined it. It's like those people that refuse CPR for some reason. Jim, for an inexplicable reason, just says, "Nope, I don't want to get the fuck out of here. I'm ready to overload." And so he does. I don't understand why he would do that when he cares about his son so much, but he does, so there you go. Yeah, Max just kind of hides while a bunch of normal, innocent human men just get slaughtered by the bad guy. He's not exactly what you would consider a hero, or competent, or charismatic, or basically anything that makes a good character. But in the end, he gets the claw. The claw sucks out tachyon energy. He's getting his shit sucked dry, and then he comes up with the plan to once again overload. "Hey, what's up, girl? I made this hentai of you. This is my dick and 16 tentacles that all have the same stimulation for me personally as my dick." It's weird. I don't understand. I don't know if that's a common thing in 2016 to be giving girls like doodles of them from like a weird stalker portfolio, but anyway, it does. They kiss happily ever after. So the movie overall is bad. It's not good. Did I expect it to be worse? No. Did I expect it to be better? No. It's about what I expected. Is it the worst movie ever made? Also no. Is it true to Max Steel? God, I hope not. I don't remember the show. I'm probably not going to go back and watch it, but god damn it, I don't feel like my time was wasted. I take that back, it kind of was. It wasn't like a fun, bad movie. This isn't like a movie that is enjoyably bad, something like The Predator, the newest Predator movie, or most obvious one being The Room. Those are fun, awful train wrecks. This is a very unenjoyably boring bad movie. What it takes to make a good bad movie is a very clear vision. This movie doesn't have a vision, it's just kind of a cash grab, as if Max Steel is really like this cash cow that you can perpetually milk. No one even remembers it, but that's what it is. It's uninspired, it's passionless, there is no vision. If you were going to make a bad movie that stands the test of time, like The Room or anything from Neil Breen, you need an artistic vision. And you need to be so inept at the craft that you can't make that vision come to life. So you end up with this weird, pretentious shitstorm, like The Room or Neil Breen's work. Those are the two main ingredients. A vision and the lack of talent to make that vision come true. This has neither of those, it's just boring bad. And I still hope the official Max Steel Twitter account continues to follow me on Twitter, because I like having that to brag about to my friends, but if they choose to unfollow me, I would understand. That's about it. So yeah. Who is this revolting vermin in the camera? I don't even recognize him anymore. That can't be Charlie. Charlie used to be this hero of gaming, who would play the obscure games that men feared to play, making the craziest XD random jokes the world had ever seen, licking nipples, tongue of elephant, genius. And now, he's become a React channel. A sentiment, a comment I see a lot on YouTube, mainly on Reddit, sometimes during streams, but I figured I'd at least address it. So, have I become a React channel? The question plaguing the scientific community. The answer? Yeah, fuck yeah. My channel has always fundamentally been a reaction-based channel. Even when I was doing the obscure video game shit ad nauseum, I don't think anyone was clicking on the videos titled Suckling Dust Out of Grandma's Titty Simulator gameplay and commentary to look for some breakneck cutthroat gameplay or anything like that. They were there to see the jokes I would make based on what the game showed me, the glitches in the game, how bad the game was, just my reaction to the bad shit in the game. But for some reason that doesn't count in a lot of people's mind, even though it's fundamentally the same thing, I'm just reacting to a different medium. But if you ask Redditors, Twitch commenters and shit like that, that's totally different. That's gaming. That's highbrow shit right there. Stringing together random words you found on a thesaurus and then saying the word nipples, that is content. Reacting to all kinds of different shit these days, that's nothing. I just find it super weird. I understand reacting shit has a very negative connotation on literally every platform, and for good reason, because a lot of people that do the react shit are personality-less, humorless people that just sit there soft dick in hand on Twitch while a video plays because someone donated for it, and it's really boring. And I still hate the Fine Bros. It's not hypocritical to say I don't like the Fine Bros React series, because their React series is literal nothing burgers. You literally get just like a fart when you watch a React Bros video, because there's no jokes put in there. There's no personality. It's just people sitting there silently as a video plays going, ooh, ah, like jingling keys in front of a toddler. That's boring. And on Twitch, the whole React Andy meme, which, by the way, I don't really understand a lot of Twitch memes. They're all kind of like super lame middle school lunch table inside jokes, but I'm starting to get a grasp on it. The React Andy meme is there because a lot of the streamers just sit there silently smoking a fucking jewel pin or pod or whatever as a video plays doing nothing. It's super lazy. Now, when I do React shit, and it's the way I've always done it, whether I'm playing a game, watching a video, or anything of the sort, I'm constantly trying to interject jokes into it, or just have fun with whatever's going on there at the time. That's the way I've always done it. The only difference these days is I do it live at twitch.tv/moistcritikal, because it's just simply more fun for me. It's a lot more fun making jokes with people in the chat than it is making jokes by myself playing a game or watching something. It's like back in college, I'm sure a lot of people did what my friends and I did. We'd sit in the dorm and we'd watch shitty movies or shitty TV shows, constantly poking jokes at it, one-upping each other's jokes, coming up with the best jokes we can with whatever we're watching. That's what I do on Twitch with the chat. The chat is constantly making jokes of what we're watching as well, so it's just really fucking fun. That's the only difference, is that instead of playing or reacting to something alone in my masturbatorium here with the lights off and bathrobe on, I'm doing it live on Twitch, twitch.tv/moistcritikal, with the people in chat making jokes, and it's just a lot more fun that way for me personally. Now, another thing I see is, it's so effortless. Just put on a video and make jokes about it. I miss when he did the video game shit. That clearly had a lot more effort and passion behind it. You're super fucking wrong. Every video game video I made, every gameplay and commentary thing, I'm gonna rip the band-aid off, and this may just circumcise you if you're not already. It was literal nothing. It took no effort. I'd sit there, play the game for 10 minutes, record straight through, done. It was 10 minutes of work. It took more time to render the video than it did to make it. It's not like that took a lot more effort or a lot more went into those videos. In fact, that's about the laziest content I've ever made and ever could make. And it's not like the jokes were all that thought out either, just XD random combinations of shit. Oh man, put my ass cheeks on a sundial and tell me the time. It looks like that guy got away from me. It's not exactly like I put a whole lot of thought into those. It was really just pretty lazy shit. The only way it could have been lazier is if I literally bent over on camera and goat-seed my ass. It's not like that was the tip top of content possible or anything to that degree. These days I do a lot more things that take a lot more time and are a lot more fun. Building shit with my dad, and I do help. It's not just my dad, you fucking assholes that say it's only my dad. Sometimes I'll hammer a nail in there occasionally and give him words of encouragement. It's mainly my dad, fuck it, yeah, that's fair. But the thing is, music shit, I do a lot more things that's not only just reaction-based shit. I've branched out and do a lot more things that are just generally more fun than sitting alone playing a video game or watching a video and making jokes in isolation about it. That's why I prefer to do it live on Twitch, but for some reason, people say it like it's a new thing, especially on Twitter and Reddit, where it's new. I've become a React-based channel. I guess it's true what Harvey Dent said. You either die a Let's Player or live long enough to see yourself make content you enjoy making. What a shame he's become so reactionary-based. I puke every time now. And now it's totally fine if you don't like the jokes I tell in it. I get that. That's fine. That's no big deal at all. But to say that all React channels are the same or the just bad inherently, I just don't agree with, because I guarantee most of the content you watch is also based heavily on reacting to something. Take for example someone huge and really good at it, like JonTron. In essence, JonTron is a reaction channel, believe it or not. What he does is basically what I do, but I tell you a joke, JonTron has the budget to show you a joke and expand on the joke he wants to tell that is based on whatever he was watching at the time. Take for example Flex Seal, or when he was doing more video games, the video game. It's the same thing in essence. It's just some people are able to do more with the joke. Instead of me just telling you it, they can show you it, they can make a skit off of it, but it's all a joke based off of something that they were watching and reacting to. That's what I think of when I think of React channels or React-based content. So I don't think React shit is inherently evil and shitty. I think there's people that are super bad at it, like certain Twitch streamers and channels like the Fine Bros. And again, the Fine Bros, it shouldn't even be called Fine Bros React series or anything. It should just be called, here's some internet pseudo-celebrities that sit silently and occasionally make a noise out of their mouth by accident that we forgot to edit out. It's just the most boring goddamn content on the website. But again, I just wanted to talk about this because I guess it's apparently something that spreads a lot, like, shit, Charlie's a React channel now. As if I haven't always been one. It's just different forms of reacting to things. Instead of it being a video game alone, now it's other videos, other content. And I make a lot more shit than just reaction things these days too. Whereas that's all I used to do with video games. At least now I do a lot of different shit. And again, totally fine if you don't like the jokes. If you prefer the older jokes I told, oh, I could brush a zebra with my toothbrush if I put it in chlorine. This dude once again got me in this game. Just a bunch of random phrases. That's fine too. I don't view those as that great. Like those jokes I told back then, I don't think would make anyone laugh in the real world. Maybe in the self-contained environment of YouTube it could make someone laugh, but if I said beat my wiener with nitroglycerin and rub my nipples with sandpaper in the real world, people would look at me like a fucking freak or some type of spork-holding weirdo, the XD random. So I don't really like that kind of humor myself anymore. It's not that I'm ashamed of the old videos or anything. I'm still proud of them as products of their time, but I don't like to tell jokes like that anymore because, again, as I get older and as I get more out into the real world, I know that that kind of shit wouldn't make me laugh, so it's probably not going to make anyone else laugh either. And that's really just about it. The content's never changed. It's just different forms of doing it. I've always been a React channel. That's about it. See ya. Alright everyone, it's time to get out the tinfoil butt plug and put that way up in there because it's about to get really into the conspiracy side of YouTube. I'm sure a lot of you, if you've been on the platform over the last month at all for any duration of time, you've been recommended a video from a creator named Janelle Eliana. She is a up-and-coming creator, and that's not even the right word for it. She's an exploding creator, a fucking supernova superstar of YouTube, who in 2 videos has amassed 1.4 million subscribers and growing 100,000 subscribers a day. Now, for anyone that's ever used a platform or used any platform ever on the internet, you know those numbers are nuts. In fact, they're more than nuts. They're the whole goddamn penis. Those numbers are unbelievable to the point where it seems fake, phony, as if it was artificially boosted. And this is where we get into the conspiracy theory on Janelle Eliana's explosion on YouTube. I want to say right away, I actually like her videos. The 2 videos she's posted, I think are interesting. She's entertaining, and I could see those videos being very popular with audiences. I think they're very well made. But that being said, 2 videos, 1.4 million views, and every single account getting recommended both videos is a little suspicious, especially when you consider the fact that Susan, the head of YouTube, once said this to Juice WRLD.
Gee, you know how we spoke about getting your subscribers up? She's the big boss of it all.
Oh,
so
yeah.
this is the real, this is the whole thing.
I know. How can we help you? You're so talented. We gotta get your subscriber numbers way up. We're gonna make it happen. All right?
Right around here.
So, using what you just heard from Susan, it's not out of the realm of possibility to think that YouTube would artificially increase someone's subscriber numbers, or at the very least, handpick people to start showing everyone to try and get more attention their way. You know, bypassing their own algorithm and just handpicking channels to explode. And that's exactly how this feels. It feels very manufactured and calculated. I even tested this myself. I logged on to Tiana's old YouTube account, one she hasn't logged into in at least a year or 2 years, and I was immediately recommended Janelle Eliana on the homepage. Right away, both videos. And that's a little surprising to me. I couldn't walk out my front door right now without seeing like a fucking blimp going by with Janelle Eliana's YouTube channel on it. I'd open my mail and it's probably nothing but Janelle Eliana YouTube letters, brochures telling me to go subscribe. They are shoving Janelle Eliana down everyone's urethra. And now circling back to the video of Susan, the head of YouTube, flirting with Juice WRLD and really puffing out her chest saying, you know, we can blow your shit up real hard, buddy. This is exactly what it feels like. This is what they've done with Janelle. And a lot of people say that it all came from Instagram because she did have an Instagram account before starting YouTube. However, in a video from a YouTuber called Memology, they talk about this by showing that her Instagram account had no growth until July 12th, which is after her first video was posted, which means the growth on her Instagram came from YouTube, not the other way around. Her Instagram followers didn't go to YouTube and blow her shit up. The YouTube people went from YouTube and blew up her Instagram shit. So there was really no connection between her already having Instagram and then posting that video. It just seemingly out of nowhere, all of a sudden just fucking caught fire and started fisting everyone's recommendations with her content. And again, I think she made quality content, and this whole conspiracy revolves around how unnatural it all seems. And this conspiracy theory is only just getting started. Buckle your seatbelt, because we're going deeper and it gets even bigger in scale. There's more twists and turns and wild, wacky adventures in this conspiracy theory. It's like fucking Game of Thrones again, but without shitty writing in the last 2 seasons. So, a couple months ago, YouTube announced that they're going to be abbreviating public subscriber count. And what that means is sites like Social Blade are no longer going to be able to give people real-time subscriber information. And Social Blade is a site that people go to look at trends and see channel growth. And it allows you to identify shit like Janelle's incredible channel growth. By abbreviating the subscriber count and getting rid of the site's ability to display these things, people aren't going to be able to track how quickly a channel is growing, which means YouTube could easily hide the fact that they're artificially increasing a channel's subscriber numbers and putting them more on the front page because you wouldn't be able to track that data, since it'd only go in 100,000 or 1 million increments. Now, why would they want to artificially boost channels? Well, the conspiracy theorists suggest that it's because they want it to be more like television, where they take channels like Janelle with easily digestible, family-friendly content that's super safe for advertisers, and boost that shit up hugely so that way it can be the face of YouTube and the direction it wants to go in. And to be honest, I kind of understand that idea because YouTube really does actively want to be like television. The entire trending page is just turbo late night with Jimmy Falimmel. But ultimately, I have to completely disagree with this portion of the conspiracy theory because YouTube is totally shameless. They wouldn't try and hide shit. They're not exactly criminals going in and bleaching their fingerprints. They're not going to hide any evidence. They're very open with the fact that they don't give a shit. If YouTube's going to artificially boost a channel, they're probably going to brag about it on Twitter. Like, hey guys, we just dumped 10 million subscribers on this channel. Fuck yeah, baby. Suck our assholes. YouTube doesn't give a shit. They're not going to go through the effort of implementing new systems to hide some shady shit they're doing. They've never done that in the past. You have to be new to the platform to think that it cares enough to hide any of the dumb shit they do. They know they have a monopoly. They know they can get away with anything, so they're not going to bother going through that effort. They outright will take a big old loogie, spit it right in your eye. They're not going to hide it. I'm pretty certain the reason they want to abbreviate the sub count is that way so people can't use it as a weapon, I think is their idea. Imagine being so goddamn pathetic you think unsubscribing to someone is a weaponized terrorist act, but I think that's their idea because the James Charles thing, the cancel culture, pro-Jared, people like the mob mentality where they all contribute to the common goal of canceling somebody, and YouTube doesn't like that people aren't playing nice. So they want to inhibit people's ability to join the mob. If you can't see how many subscribers someone's losing, you're less likely to hop aboard the unsubscribe train. I don't know. I think that's their thought process. That's what it seems like because that change came at the tail end of the James Charles controversy, so the timing seems a little fishy there. I imagine that's the idea. I don't think the artificially boosting a channel is correlated with the abbreviated sub count at all. Now, I do want to give credit to YouTube. I've been kind of taking a shit on them, but they have been making changes to the copyright enforcement system, so credit where credit is due, YouTube. I like what you're doing with the copyright thing, and I hope you continue to make attempts to at least bridge the gap between creator and platform and make it a better platform overall. Back to the conspiracy shit, baby. People are being automatically subbed to her channel. This one I can't confirm or deny. I logged in on Tiana's old YouTube account. She was not subscribed, though she was constantly recommended the videos. And in Memology's video, he shows a lot of screenshots from about 1,000 fucking commenters that all say they were automatically subbed to her and have no idea who she is or why they were subbed to her. There's no way to confirm if that's real. It could just be people making shit up for the sake of a myth on YouTube, like the Loch Ness Monster, or, like the boogeyman of YouTube. Help, guys. My YouTube account's been hacked and haunted by the ghost of Chad Hurley, and I've been automatically subscribed to Janelle. What's going on? Well, shit. Need an exorcism. It could be totally fake. People subscribed and forgot. People accidentally subscribed. But the conspiracy goes even deeper. Just had a fucking fat voice crack, so maybe there is some paranormal play here. Going deeper, they say YouTube has access to the inactive accounts that they occasionally purge. As some of you know, if an account gets way too inactive, they just get rid of the account. That being said, they say that they are subscribing those really old accounts to her, so it's not suspicious. No one's account is meant to get automatically subscribed. It's an accident if it does, because they're trying to do the inactive ones to her. There's no way of knowing if that's real or not. That's really grasping. That I seem to be highly unlikely that they're using inactive accounts to mass subscribe to her. There's literally no way at all to know unless YouTube just comes out and, takes off their shirt, waves it over their head. Yep, we've been doing that. Woohoo, yaha, I've been doing it. There's no way you're ever going to get confirmation on that. And there's no way to know if being automatically subscribed to her is a real thing or just, again, made up. I was rendering the video and then remembered I didn't talk about this anime's villain. So, according to conspiracy theorist Philip DeFranco is the puppet master pulling the strings and making Janelle Eliana dance. He is the secret behind her success because in a recent video, Philip talks about her and promotes her channel. Now, it is a little odd that out of nowhere he just starts promoting her, saying how much he loves her channel, jerking off to it every day. It's the perfect zig to the YouTube zag. It's amazing. It's great. It is a little odd and out of place. But I don't know if that's actually good evidence, solid evidence to confirm that he has a hand in it, because he really does just talk about news and shit like that, so maybe he was just talking about it because she was already blowing up. I don't know, I don't really like the guy. I'm not going to white knight him and fight his battles, but it's not exactly strong evidence. And as a whole, I think the conspiracy theory has a lot of problems with it, though there is something very unnatural about Janelle's growth. And again, Memology's video talks about it in pretty good detail, but in a nutshell, it doesn't take too long and too much thinking to realize that, hey, someone's first video on a platform that doesn't really have a pre-established following probably is pretty unlikely to get 5 million views in a week. That seems a little odd. Oh, it's even odder that she's getting 100,000 subs a day on only 2 videos. That's a little weird. You don't have to connect a lot of dots or do a whole lot of thought experimenting to figure out that something's a little fishy there, and with Susan having that video of her saying that she can blow up a channel out of nowhere, it's a little fishy. But anyway, just wanted to talk about this because I think it's an interesting subject, and that's about it. So yeah. Originally a week or so ago, and my dad and I broke the record for the world's fastest gaming chair. It was originally intended to be a chair to replace my old ratty one that was literally falling apart and probably giving me a disease. But the problem is, the chair was gas powered. So I can't just have a gas-powered chair as my primary chair in my room, because I'd just be constantly huffing the gas fumes until I'm stupid enough to think the earth is flat, vaccines cause autism, and that ear rape loud meme videos are good comedy. So I needed to come up with an alternate solution. Thus, an electric-powered chair was the correct idea. However, after finally completing the motherfucker, I realized it's too high up. This really cheap throne here is not comfortable at all. It's like sitting on broken glass in my asshole. And the problem is the desk is too low compared to the chair's height. So instead, I'm just, like, anytime I want to get close to my laptop or anything here on my desk, my knees are just rubbing against the glass, and it doesn't feel very nice. Anyway, let me show you how my dad and I put this bitch together. I'll show you the secrets in engineering. Well, this is internet superstar sensation Papa Charles. What are we making today, Dad?
Can't tell you.
Wow.
Big secret.
Well, very wise words.
Well, obviously it involves a chair. You can see that, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, kind of our, I don't know. The last one involved a chair, so I guess this one involves a chair, but...
Well, I'll spoil the surprise for you. By the time this footage is shown, I will have already scooted in on the chair. So you can reveal the Area 51 secrets here.
Yeah, but nobody knows how this thing is going to work, so including me. We got to figure it out as we go.
Alright, we'll have to defy science and build it.
Yeah. I can't give away my secrets.
Oh, it's too late. I've already started recording this.
Well, I can't give away my secrets on how I'm going to do this. No, but this is top secret stuff. I can't just be telling all my engineering secrets and stuff that I do, you know. I mean, when I do stuff, I just have to think about it as I go, you know. So that's kind of the deal. But I got a plan worked out. Don't worry, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be good.
You don't want to reveal your creative process?
No, hell no. I can't be telling people my thought process. That's shit. You just gotta know, you know. So.
Sorry.
We'll see the finished product here in a little bit.
Well, I'm sorry. I guess we're not giving away the Krabby Patty secret formula.
No, we can't. We can't give it away.
All right, punch it.
Oh, fuck. What's with this thing?
It's just you gotta get used to the technique. You gotta put both feet on at the same time.
Nothing's bolted down yet. I'm gonna bust my ass.
It'll be fine. Let me show you how a real pilot does it.
Oh, well, there you go. Now back up.
Well, let's not get too wild here. See? Smooth. It's easy.
Yeah, now that I fixed it.
Yeah, now that you've bug tested it. The purple throne chair was bundled with a little Halloween costume for a king cosplay that my dad wanted to wear because he thought it was symbolic for the work he put into the project. So this is him putting that uniform on and taking it for its first trip.
Taking the maiden voyage.
The royal first flight. Watch it.
Carry on, peasants.
Jesus. You look like a NPC giving a side quest in a video game.
What's that?
Punch it. I never knew how massive vaping was until YouTube started cramming that shit right up my ass for the last week or so. Vaping is absolutely huge, and I thought, let's check out some tricks. Let's see the kind of skateboarding stunts they get into, like fucking 1080s with the vape and all that. The no-scope headshot vape montages. I wanted to see what the creative minds of vaping could bring to the table for freestyling, and I was beyond disappointed with the vape tricks, and I thought to myself, well, I could definitely do better. So that's what I did. I'm in full Vape Lord cosplay right now. All I'm missing is like a choker or something, and I'm ready to show you the tricks that I've created. I've become the Frankenstein, and I'm showing you my monster. Just unboxed my baby's first vape here. It looks like a fucking walkie-talkie, or like a taser.
It looks like a Transformer of sorts.
Well, yeah, like a Happy Meal Transformers toy or something. Did it come out the pussy real well?
Yeah.
Hello, my name's Charlie. I'm a 24-year-old man, and yesterday I was 5'6". Living life as a 5'6" man wasn't easy. The constant ridicule, the belittling, the pointing and laughing. I'd go to Target, the employees would ask me if I was separated from my parental guardian, if I needed assistance finding them. I'd go to the bar at Beef O'Brady's and be asked if I wanted a booster seat and an apple juice. I'd look at a full-body mirror, totally nude, flaccid-dicked, soft cock, and I'd sit there wondering, man, if only I was taller. Then I'd stand on my tippy toes, get erect, and start jerking off at the height that I could have had. Sorry, it's just a bit of a dark time to be reflecting on, but I'm happy to say I now live life as a 5'10" alpha male. Yesterday I found some insoles that you put in your shoe that give you 4 inches in added height. But not only do they give you 4 inches in bonus height, they're also discreet, so no one's gonna suspect anything's out of the ordinary with you because they're so well hidden in the shoe. Fucking McGruff the crime dog couldn't sniff out the solution to this crime. But I'm letting you in on the secret as to how I got this height. It's the insoles here. I broke the magician's code telling you how it happened. But in the wild, if I didn't tell you that I had these on, you wouldn't sniff a goddamn thing. You'd have no idea. You thought I just had a quick little growth spurt. Now, obviously, I'm still a bit of a novice when it comes to this, so I'm walking around like I got some fucking high heels on, but I imagine as I train my body to adapt to this bonus height, I can make it look far more natural. And I thought to myself, well, that's only for insecure baby boys. I can't use that. But then I got to thinking, wait a minute. There's a glitch in the system. Using this technology and my high IQ, I was able to sniff out a loophole, a cosmic loophole, where if you never take the shoes off, you always have the height. You see, it's genius when you think about it, because when you wear the shoes with the insoles in them, you're 4 inches taller, but it's ephemeral because you have to take them off to shower, to sleep, and just generally you don't want to just have shoes on the entire time. You'll get athlete's foot, you'll get syphilis, you'll get small dickitis. There's a lot of bad things that come with that, but what if you don't care? What if you just keep them on the entire time? And that's what I've done. Now, I am constantly 4 inches taller, and I live at a perpetual 5'10". Tiana, you want any cereal?
Let's knock that glass out.
I've now moved all the important materials to the top shelf in the kitchen because I can easily reach them now. And yes, you bet your sweet ass I sleep with these bad boys on every single night. I wouldn't want to have wet dreams where I'm not 5'10" and I'm back to a 5'6" baby boy. Oh, you're wondering if my power level decreases when I shower because I have to take off the shoes? No, you stupid pussy. I keep the shoes on during every single shower as well. You couldn't rip these shoes from my feet with the goddamn jaws of life. There's like fucking Thor's hammer on my feet right now. Only I can move them around and take them off and on if I choose to. No one else has the strength. It's just, you know, now at 5'10", I'm like Frieza who's reached his final form. I feel complete. Just look at these old photos of me. Look, in all of these photos, I was a 5'6" man. Can you even believe it? It's disgusting. yucky. I look at these in pure disgust. I honestly want them purged from everyone's memory and just the internet in general. But yeah, I mean, all in all, it just feels good to finally be a member of the super tall elite Alpha Chad crew. That's about it. See ya. When it comes to internet trends and memes, I am very, very far behind the times. I had learned about Big Chungus only a few weeks ago, and apparently it's been dead for like a year now. But that being said, I'm pretty goddamn early to the newest one that's taking over Twitter called the Bottle Cap Challenge, and the only reason I was made aware of it is because my boy, my favorite martial artist, Donnie Yin, participated in it, and this challenge is just taking the fucking internet by storm. Not only did Donnie Yin participate, but my fucking boy Vasily Kamatsky, the king of slapping, the god slap, also participated. Let me just show you what the Bottle Cap Challenge is. Naturally, as a high-level competitive athlete, I saw these and wanted to compete with them to make the best possible bottle cap video. And, you know, I realized I'm no martial artist. I can't even get my foot up to, like, my nipples length when I kick it straight up without pulling something drastically. No, I can't slap very hard. If I slap someone, it'd be like getting hit by a third grader's fingertips. So I couldn't do either of those. I also can't break dance. But what I can do is I'm quite the goddamn mastermind when it comes to fleshlight martial arts. So I thought, let's try and get this bottle cap off with a fleshlight, and that's exactly what I did. I took this challenge to the next fucking level. This was actually my third attempt. The first two didn't go nearly as well. I wasn't too pleased with the marksmanship I had displayed in the first two, but I'll share them with you anyway so you can see the process. I've had this chair since I was a teenager. It's approaching 10 years old and it's actually held together by socks with pillow feathers stuffed underneath them for cushions because the cushions rotted away about 5 or 6 years ago. This chair is a fucking time bomb of filth, and it feels like shit. It feels like I have two cactuses constantly on both my ass cheeks. Oftentimes I'll stand up and my ass cheeks are cramped, mainly because the chair is uncomfortable, and I figured it was time to upgrade. And I'm an elite gamer, as most of you know, a gamer barbarian, assassin, guru. So I decided to get a gaming chair, but I didn't want any gaming chair. I'm not all too familiar with gaming chairs in general, and I knew PewDiePie had one, and I trust Felix, so I got his gaming chair. And I thought to myself, well, that's kind of boring, just a chair. Why not take that shit to the next level? So I recruited the East Coast top engineer, my father, and my dad and I built a historic machine. A fucking weaponized gaming chair on wheels. It's like a goddamn twisted metal contraption gizmo. It looks like a Mad Max style dinghy, like a dinghy that would be used in a Mad Max universe. It's fucking awesome, and I'm gonna show you the process of how we built it and how fast it goes. This bitch pumps up to 40 miles an hour. This shit hauls. This is a world first, baby. Alright, so what are we doing today, Dad?
Well, we gotta put this chair together first, which I think you're gonna do.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then we're gonna try to mount this chair on this hot rod. And
Yeah, you very specifically wanted me to record you bringing a toolbox.
So I had to go get a Phillips screwdriver. This is your toolbox. Really? This is your toolbox?
So you wanted me to record you insulting me the toolbox you gave me.
Why don't you have like a real toolbox?
You gave me that toolbox.
That's because I know you won't do nothing. It is pretty nice.
Yep, chair's all done. Now we just have to take the crazy cooler off and then mount the chair to this. Which shouldn't be too hard. How do you like the gaming throne?
Go ahead, I'll just watch you do it. It's fine. Alright, here she comes.
Fuck yeah, baby.
Cooler's off.
That's how we do it. Bare naked frame.
Let's just look at something here. Oh yeah.
That fits beautifully, like it was made for it.
Oh yeah. Well, the only problem is your feet are gonna hang out the front with no place to put them.
Nah, I'm 5'6". My feet probably won't even come near the end of the cushion.
Now we could build something out here, a bar to put your feet on. That might be kind of cool.
Outfit it with a nitrous oxide booster and shit. Yeah, I see what you're getting at. All right, what's the sit rep? What problem have we just experienced?
Your crazy idea to do this in the first place. That's the freaking problem. So what the situation is we got it stripped apart. The chair's too big this way and hits the tires, so we got to get the chair up off of the tires, and then we're going to take the foot pegs that originally were here for to put your feet on with the cooler, and we're going to mount them out here. So you can rest your feet on here so when you steer, but the chair's got to get up off of the tires, so we're going to have to build a bracket here to raise the chair up.
Now, what the fuck is a bracket? I obviously know, being the son of
See this black thing?
Yeah.
That's a fucking bracket.
Well, I knew that. It's for the people at home that may not.
The people at home know, believe me. Are you serious?
You are way out of touch with the internet.
Oh my god. Alright, well, we just gonna have to do some engineering here. That's the whole deal.
Our specialty.
Yeah, our specialty, right.
So we've encountered a new boss. The most caveman. It's such a caveman approach. The bolts don't line up. Hit it with the hammer.
Go ahead, hit it.
You know, I gotta be honest. I don't think hitting it with the hammer is doing anything.
Yeah, it is. Hit it. You gotta pull it while you're hitting it. It ain't doing no good just hitting it. Fuck! Come on, hit it with the hammer. So, something flew up and hit me in the nose.
We fucking bleed for this craft.
I think it was your fucked up hammering.
No, it definitely wasn't. My hammering was precise, like a surgeon.
It's really funny because I hammered the first one, nothing happened, and all of a sudden I stick my head down here and I'm bleeding in the nose. So,
yeah.
All right,
it's all worth it. All right, hold on. Can you go over the whole situation again? It's been a little while. You've come back from the ER after a huge injury sustained about an hour ago. Where are we at in the build?
Well, I had to saw some 4x4s to mount the seat. I broke my saw blade, so I had to saw the. I won't say it.
Say what?
Bitches by hand.
Oh no! You didn't just say that.
Suck on this.
Yeah,
hold
baby.
On, hold on.
Oh fuck yeah! You feel like a gamer?
Low rider.
That block of wood shit worked real well. Faster.
Hold it. What do you mean hold it? Are you sabotaging me? Making me look like a fucking idiot?
There you go.
Oh, and I got the table right.
He has like a James Bond ejector seat in it. Parachute too.
It's so cool.
It is so fucking
It
cool.
looks goofy, but it's actually super comfortable.
Yeah. Here he comes with a kickflip. On the internet, there's a single unwritten rule. Don't fuck with K-pop fans. K-pop is a word that's like Voldemort in Harry Potter's Sorcerer's Stone. You just don't say it. You're not allowed to say it. Even if it's something positive, it's fucking forbidden, and you will get absolutely virtually bitch slapped, as they call it. The K-pop community, for those that don't know, are a community of people that literally worship anything Korean pop related, and they make it their entire life. Now, this is less focusing on just being a fan of K-pop music and more of just the idea of celebrity worship and how unhealthy it is, where K-pop fans take that to the most extreme possible level. So for those that don't know, K-pop is a genre of music that stands for Korean pop, BTS being the biggest group most of you have probably heard of. I kind of fuck with some K-pop myself. I'm not a huge fan of the genre, but there are some songs that are just straight bangers in the genre that I appreciate. And this genre of music has spawned an incredibly aggressive community of feral animals that foam at the mouth anytime their favorite group is even mentioned, even in a positive way. Oh, how dare you mention Luna? You're not as big a fan of Luna as I am. I will literally fuck you in the butt with my small penis. Oh, you think you like Luna, do you? Do you even know where they were born? Do you? Do you know who their parents are? This incredibly unhealthy obsession with these groups is what the entire K-pop fandom is all about. They proudly call themselves stans. And for those that don't know, stan is a term coined from Eminem's song Stan. It's a combination of stalker and fan. The song is about a fan who's obsessed with Eminem, who goes as far as to kill himself and his girlfriend because his idol didn't reciprocate the love or acknowledge his existence. So these people proudly call themselves a stalker and a fan. And I know they don't use that literally, but some of them absolutely do. I feel like a lot of these K-pop stans are one Twitter argument away from lighting a church on fire out of passion because the pastor doesn't listen to K-pop. It's genuinely unhealthy how obsessed they are with some of these groups. And it's not good at all. I don't know why anyone would make this their entire identity. These K-pop stans have changed their entire life to make it all about being a fan of that group. A group that has no connection to them. The group doesn't know they exist, and if the group ever encountered that person in the real world, they would immediately call security because they'd be afraid. It's disturbing to have a complete stranger know everything about you and can't even get like a normal word in because they won't stop screaming and ululating and pissing their pants just at the sight of you. No one wants that. That's why none of the K-pop groups ever acknowledge their fandom in public, at least not from what I've seen. And I've done a little research on this because I was curious if they reciprocated that love with these incredibly hostile groups of people that go on Twitter and try and ruin careers and try and get people fired because they didn't like the same K-pop group. It's a literal ass-eat-ass world in the K-pop standom. It's a cannibalized society. They eat each other. They genuinely fucking eat each other, ripping nipples off, jerking dicks off. It's fucking crazy how insane the K-pop stan community is, and it's mainly on Twitter. That's where we'll focus on most of this. When you even make a tweet with K-pop in the title, you are getting shit. No matter what you've said, you are getting a shower of shit. Literal diarrhea. Because they just are immediately defensive and think anything with K-pop in it is an attack on them. I can't post any pictures because Twitter has really vague definitions of what constitutes harassment or brigading, so I'm going to assume most of you know what I'm talking about, or if you don't, you can easily find it if you even just search K-pop. I'm sure you could find a million arguments right now happening this second. And I think it's extremely sad because these people's entire lives revolve around being the biggest fan of a group of strangers. They like some of their songs, so now they have devoted their entire being, their entire existence to being a fan and stalker of that group of people. That's such a waste. That's genuinely just sad. And I don't think that's healthy at all. I don't know how anyone can proudly call themselves a super stalker fan. It's fucking sad. And the fact that they're extremely aggressive about it, it's fine to be passionate, and this isn't obviously to the entire community of K-pop fans. There's totally rational ones as well. But for some reason, K-pop has bred this incredibly hostile group of people with an unhealthy obsession that I think needs to be addressed. And I can't state this enough, their entire existence is based around just being a fan. It's like their professional job is being a professional fan of this group of strangers that they just like the music of. They fight full-time, a literal 9-to-5 job, fighting on Twitter for their honor, white knighting this group that doesn't even like them or acknowledge their existence, and it's fucking sad. It's pathetic. And it's fine to be passionate, but this is unhealthy obsession. I'm talking to all of the stans out there. You know who you are. You've replied to my tweets with their fucking 2-minute long clips of choreography from your favorite K-pop group. That's their favorite pastime. For some reason, that's owning the non-believers, really pwning the fucking K-pop haters by posting a full 2-minute video from one of their live performances where the camera is fixated on the one they have the biggest crush on. And it looks like a serial killer footage that they're showing because they have this entire group of people dancing, and yet it's focused all shaky cam, Cloverfield style, on one of them as they follow them around breathing heavily into the camera. It's fucking disturbing. You're not winning any arguments by posting that. You're just making yourself look like even more of a sociopath. I just really don't get it, and I don't mean to be so aggressive with the K-pop community because, again, not every single K-pop fan is like this, but there is a huge community of K-pop stans that are exactly like this and make the internet a really sad place, Twitter in particular, a really fucking sad place. Coming across a K-pop stan, I can't help but feel bad for him. There's really nothing more wasteful than worshiping a celebrity full-time. I don't understand how that dependency on a celebrity comes to fruition, how it breeds. I don't really get it. You don't know the person. You don't know anything about them. You're just a fan of some of the shit they put out there. Why waste your time being a full-time enthusiast of that person? Enjoy their work. Let other people either enjoy it or not. You don't have to go out of your way to take more time out of your day to fight that person's battles when they most likely don't want you to. I highly doubt any of the celebrities like that kind of behavior. It genuinely, like, I guarantee if the K-pop stans and the K-pop group ever got together to do like a meet and greet, like the K-pop stans on Twitter and then the actual group, if they got together, it'd be like a scene out of the first season of The Walking Dead where the K-pop stans literally eat the group alive because they love them so much and they don't know how to control themselves. They would literally feast upon the flesh of their favorite group out of a crime of passion. That's how fucking deranged they are, or at least that's how they act on Twitter. It's so fucking strange. And I feel like the K-pop enthusiasts are going to lose their goddamn mind just even knowing I said these things about them. But you need to take a moment of self-reflection and calm the fuck down. Enjoy your K-pop group. Enjoy whatever the fuck you want. But why act like such a goddamn asshole about it and make it your entire life to be that asshole about it? It's such a waste. A pathetic waste. And I think you need a hard look in the mirror to realize what a waste it is spending hours and hours of every day searching through Twitter out of your way, typing in K-pop to fight battles. You know, these people get up in the morning and put on a sweatband, jerk off into a sink, and then get ready to have Twitter arguments. That is their plan for the day, it seems like. These people come locked and loaded, ready to just go as far out of their way as possible to find a tweet with one comment on it and 5 likes and start fighting them about K-pop. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts, and it's fucking scary. It really is. And that's all I wanted to bring up. K-pop fans and celebrity worship scare me. That's the whole point. And I think if you're a K-pop stan, you need to take a moment and calm the fuck down. That's about it. So yeah. Last night, Tiana and I saw the new Toy Story movie, and while waiting for snacks, there was a really goofy-looking Buzz Lightyear doll I took a picture of and made a joke about on my Instagram page. And then Tiana reminded me that the Chucky movie also came out. And when she mentioned that and I was holding the Buzz Lightyear doll, I had like a fucking Winter Soldier episode. All these repressed memories from my childhood just filled my fucking skull. And I remembered a really scary item from my childhood that I'd like to share with all of you today during this show and tell. Look at this. This used to haunt the toy closet of my childhood. This doll is of me. Here's a reference picture that it's kind of based on. So my mom got this made to look like me when I was 4 years old or something like that. And then she put it in my toy closet. And every time, I was afraid to go to the fucking top shelf because this is where this dude was residing. That was his domain. Those toys never got fucking touched. There were spider webs on that shit because this thing was just scaring me. And I don't mean to say it right in front of him, but it was fucking terrifying. It still is. It's a scary doll. I don't know what the fuck my mom was thinking. Even getting him was scary because my mom found him today, and then my dog went ballistic barking at him as I went over to get him. And that doesn't happen. That's like straight out of a fucking every generic horror movie ever where the dog's barking at the evil thing. So this whole adventure through this childhood scary item has been truly unnerving. I'm not one to really believe in the paranormal, but goddamn, it's just a really scary little doll. It's pretty accurate though, so I have to give compliments to the company that made it. They did a really good job making it look like the picture my mom sent them, and I have to wonder what the fuck my parents were thinking making this. This is truly the stuff of a nightmare. And I just wanted to share this with all of you. Don't get dolls made after your child or after yourself or anything. It's a weird recipe for disaster. It just feels odd. There's no winners in that scenario. It's just fucking creepy. Again, I'm not really one to believe in the paranormal and use codename Kids Next Door gadgets to check out haunted places where you have like 2 metal dildos on top of some pipe cleaner that spin around if there's a spirit nearby. I don't really subscribe to that belief idea or anything, but this guy right here makes me want to get some holy water and like rub his nipples with it just to be safe, just to err on the side of caution. It's just a weird deal. I really don't know why my parents sent for it. I don't know what company was making this. Wouldn't it be quite the fucking plot twist if this was like Apple's first foray into the business world? Instead of computers, they started pumping out like creepy dolls or some shit. I'd really like to know what company made this, but my parents don't remember. I don't know what it is. Honestly, that sounds like the plot to a horror movie. It turns out it was like some wizard in some fucking abandoned cabin in the woods making these dolls or something with some all types of spells and shit. This is the kind of shit you would read about on a creepypasta or like a 4chan board at 3 a.m. and you're like, there's no way that could exist. No parents would ever get a carbon copy of their child as a stuffed doll, a really scary looking stuffed doll. It just wouldn't happen. And then here's proof. It does happen. I've had this for as long as I can remember, and I've always been kind of scared of it. If you listen to the official podcast, you know that my parents also used to have a wax Humphrey Bogart figure, like a 6'5" Humphrey Bogart. This thing was just as scary, if not scarier, than Humphrey Bogart, because this guy was right up in my toy shit, and that made it hard because I had to, if I ever wanted to even look near that closet, I would see him. So Humphrey Bogart and this guy were like a tag team of nightmares for my childhood. We don't have the Humphrey Bogart wax statue anymore, but if I ever find it in like a dumpster or maybe like a witch's house or something, I'll be sure to show it with all of you and share some stories. But I thought I might as well bring this bad boy out. It's a little early for Halloween, but I hope this hasn't spooked you out too hard, and that's about it. See ya. Jesus Christ, even just doing that just felt weird. I don't know, this doll thing, I don't have like a fear of dolls or anything, but there's just something about this one that just, it's scary. I don't know, man. But yeah, again, that's it. See ya. No waving from the doll this time. Just normal sign off. See ya. Most of you know I hate cockroaches. I wouldn't go as far as to call it a phobia, because I don't pee my pants, cry, and call my mom when I see one or anything like that. But when I do encounter one, I get a bit icky feeling, you know, it feels a bit yucky in the atmosphere around me, like something has truly gone awry in the force to allow this cockroach to exist and be near me at that moment. Cockroaches are fucking disgusting. I think human beings are hardwired, programmed to hate cockroaches, something embedded deep within our DNA, from when we were primitive little fish in the sea to where we are now jerking off to hentai. Humans have probably always hated cockroaches, and the reason I'm bringing up this ancient menace is because during a recent stream, one crawled on my leg and I slapped it off and freaked out. And most people view this as cowardice and me being a big old pussy. However, I view it quite the opposite. I viewed it as me being a fearless warrior, slapping down a sneaky assassin on my leg, coming back and finishing the job with huge nuts, big loads of testosterone flowing through my veins. However, most people don't see it that way because they're misinterpreting my battle cry as more of like a whimpering scream of a baby bitch. And I don't view it that way, so I wanted to play the clip for all of you so you could be the judge of yourself whether or not I am a pussy. I don't think so. I think I handle cockroaches the way most sensible people do, and I'm pretty proud of the work I did on that cockroach during the stream. It's twitch.tv/moistcritikal if you want to see me fight more cockroaches. But anyway, here it is.
Could look like.
This is her Colorado cases.
Yeah.
Okay, listen. Smoking device with suspected marijuana in the pipe bowl, small red hot tin containing used syringe, 3 Ziploc baggies with white the sister.
Baby Lisa.
It crawled on my leg. Jesus Christ. My leg's never gonna feel clean again. Fuck. My whole area has been compromised. I have no fucking idea where it went. I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. This thing's gonna be fucking haunting my dreams now. It's not a phobia. It snuck up on me in my moment of weakness. Fucking Dog the Bounty Hunter just dropped some sage wisdom. I was feeling vulnerable, and then a fucking cockroach crawls on my leg. It just got me at the right time. I swear, if it shows its face again, I won't even blink. But it just, got the best of me in the moment. I should have used the Spider-Man training lessons to really take him down, but I panicked.
And tell me, will you?
I fucking hate you guys don't understand. You probably get those bitch-ass cockroaches that can't even fly. In Florida, we get the palmetto bugs, which can fly. Actual shit of nightmares. Why is he shirtless now? I don't know.
Okay, get out of the way. Search him good. Okay, we want to make sure that that's for you, Jason, so just let him grab.
Oh!
You like it, don't you, homie?
Everybody calm down for a minute.
Oh, I did it.
Outside, let's go.
All that grunting you heard right there was the sound of a hero. A fearless hero who looked the cockroach in the eyes and took it down. We got him, baby! Jackpot! You see that? My methods are unorthodox. My battle cry may be misconstrued as being a pussy, but god damn it, the results speak for themselves, baby! We got him! Tell your friends. Now I know how Dog the Bounty Hunter feels when he catches a fugitive. I fucking looked that bitch in the face and I'm like, you know what? I'm standing my ground like a real man. And then I screamed and slapped it with a large book. Like a real man, baby. That's how we do it. Bang! About 2 weeks ago, I was taking a late night pee-pee and something hit me, something extraordinary. A eureka moment, not too dissimilar from when Benjamin Franklin discovered electricity with a kite and a lightning bolt. At least that's what Jimmy Neutron tells us happened. But it was in the same vein as that discovery. I was peeing and something hit my ears. I noticed a similarity between the sound of my pee-pee, the acoustics of my piss hitting the water, and the sound effects in Scooby-Doo. All of it, I haven't seen the original Scooby-Doo since I was a kid, but all of a sudden, the wires connected in my brain, and I'm like, wait a minute, is this how they made the Scooby-Doo sound effects? So then I began to investigate. I began to dig deeper, and I could find no information on how the effects were made. Thus, my imagination continued to run wild. Well, maybe the producer just pissed into a bowl and recorded it with a bad ham radio microphone or something. And then I was like, well, can I do that? Do I have the technical know-how to record myself pissing into a bowl? So I did. Well, the toilet bowl. I didn't just piss into Tupperware or anything. I'm not a fucking caveman. But I did that, and look at the results. The results speak for themselves. I think I have discovered the very disturbing truth behind the Scooby-Doo running sound effect. Check this shit out. So I'll start by playing a normal clip of Scooby-Doo where you can hear the running sound effect I'm talking about. I'll play it twice, once normal volume, and then I'll raise it the second time around just so you get a really clear description, audio description of what the sound effect sounds like. Now you've heard the authentic sound effect with no editing done to it whatsoever. That's how it aired on the show. This is canon. This is part of the established lore of Scooby-Doo. That is the running sound effect. Now, let's hear a little excerpt from when I took a piss a couple minutes ago. This is only a short little segment from my long pee-pee session, but this should be enough to give you a taste. So now that may not sound exactly the same as the sound effect on the surface, but I doubt they would just take straight urine hitting water and put it as the running sound effect. I'm sure they did a little audio engineering. I'm no audio engineer. In fact, I suck some fat asshole in that department, but I gave it my best attempt, and I think I got kind of close. So this is my pee put to the scene and also edited a little bit to sound a bit closer to how the editors probably did it back in the 90s. You probably couldn't tell a difference, right? I swear to God, that is my piss, not the actual running sound effect. Look, the similarities are uncanny. I would like the producers to come out and admit that the sound effect they used in Scooby-Doo running was them peeing. That's what I would like them to admit, because I have just blown the lid wide off this, right the fuck off, blown it wide open. I wouldn't be surprised if Scooby-Doo assassins came in right now to take me away. But god damn it, the truth needed to come out, and I cracked the fucking code. That's it. So yeah. Yesterday I made a video making jokes at a man named Brian Taylor, who's an Australian sports commentator who went out of his way to insult an esports team at a football game for no reason, and now all 5 of Brian Taylor's fervent fans on Facebook are mad at me, so they've got their pitchforks out, they've rallied the entire anti-vaccination group of moms there to target me and get mad at me, all because I insulted their hero with some jokes. And I also want to talk about Reddit, because the video got posted there, and Reddit has to be the most humorless place on the fucking planet. Let me make this clear for all enlightened atheist Redditors out there, you euphoric beings. I just posted that video to make jokes. The guy was being a douchebag, so, you know, that's ripe for making jokes about. If you're gonna dish out jokes and be mean, you should be able to take some jokes as well, as should your fans. It was not there as some type of moral high ground where I'm trying to rally a team of elite gamers to show Brian that he's a bad person and going to hell for insulting gamers. No, I just wanted to make jokes. I pointed out why he's a douchebag, and then I made jokes at him and about him. It's not supposed to be some thought-provoking piece that rattles your very soul and makes you self-reflect on yourself. I just wanted to make some fucking jokes. Meanwhile, Reddit's like, oh, this guy's such a hypocrite. Yeah, Brian was insulting those guys, but this guy's no better. He's insulting Brian. Oh, disgusting. Jokes? What do you mean jokes? On the internet in 2019, isn't that illegal? This man should be thrown in jail for making jokes. He should be in the slammer right now. I don't get it. How dumb is Reddit overall? Or not even dumb. I think it's just blatantly ignorant to just social shit in general. I think it's very clear I was just making jokes. It wasn't supposed to be some type of moral piece. Yeah, I pointed out he's a douchebag. Yeah, I pointed out it's rude. It is. And then I made jokes. It's not like I was there to be better than Brian. I just wanted to make some fucking jokes. And I think Facebook understood that. They at least knew it was there for jokes, not some type of moral piece. But let me give you a little background on the Facebook thing. So Brian Taylor's got a Facebook page, a fan page. It's not his page. And it started out as a satire piece to make fun of Brian Taylor originally. And then it got hijacked by people that actually like Brian Taylor. So now it has this identity crisis where sometimes it supports him and then other times it just takes the dick right out of him. So it's got this weird dichotomy going on, this weird civil war, and it seems I've united them as a common enemy like the raid boss. So now they've all come together to insult me. And I can't tell if it's ironic or not, and I don't really care because it's pretty goddamn entertaining. So Brian Taylor, the owner of the account, posted this, where he calls me a neck-bearded virgin who attacks BT. It's a bit of a stretch. I can tell the person who owns this account's probably in like mid-30s, because they must have just read neck-bearded virgin on like an archived 4chan source trying to catch up with like internet lingo and shit. I don't have a neck beard. I don't even grow hair down here except for like rogue pubic hairs that'll pop up here and there, which look fucking disgusting. And if I did have a neck beard growing in, I would immediately nair that off or like go to laser hair removal because I just can't stand the look of neck beards. I'm sure some people can pull them off. I can't. And I know neck beard's supposed to just be a general insult, but in this case it doesn't really apply. Virgin, I'm not a virgin, but if you want to make me a virgin in your own headcanon lore to jerk off to, I'm totally fucking fine with that as well. But anyway, the people, he posted this, and then the fans or the people shitposting for Brian Taylor hopped on board, and there's some bangers in there. So the senile owner of this page says, odds on this bastard living in his parents' basement at 30, and the fans of this page are so fucking dumb, the response to this was, $1.02. How do you even dress yourself in the morning? That's not how odds work. Are you fucking kidding me? How fucking dumb are you? I'm not gonna sit here and be your 3rd grade teacher and teach you how this works, but god damn. I want you to go through this out loud in your head, looking in the mirror at some point. Someone asks you, hey, what are the odds that this horse wins the horse race? Your response, $1.02. Does that sound right to you? Or if you want to do it in a more social situation, what are the odds I get real fucked up at this party and bang this girl that I've been interested in? $1.02 odds. Does that sound right? No, it doesn't. You need to rehearse a little bit here. Holy shit. And that's what most of the comments are. There's also this really cute, innocent one. Is anyone else Googling lolly porn? this poor guy, this guy's obviously probably a middle-aged father. He doesn't know what that is, and he's in for a real rude awakening, or he's gonna find something very sexually evil within himself. It's one or the other, really. Could go either way. I really just don't have a whole lot to say about the comments on here or the beef between Brian Taylor and I, because I really think most of these are ironic. I just really, it feels that way. It feels like they're all in on the joke, and some of them are really sad that I almost have to convince myself that it's ironic at some point. Some of them I just plain out, just outright can't understand, like this one. He doesn't look like he plays any sports. Clearly an uneducated man who's got no idea. You bagged a Coleman in 86 kicking 100 snags. BT, goodness gracious me. Don't know what's going on in the brain department here. I understood maybe half of those words. I have no fucking clue what bagging a Coleman 86 100-foot snag proton electron kinesiology power stone loop-de-doop and pull is. So a lot of it's just lost in translation on these. I can't even tell if they're insulting me or not because it just doesn't make sense. I don't know the sport. Then there's some real internet tough guys like, man, if he said this to Brian, I bet Brian would rip his goddamn tits off. I know I would if I ever saw this guy saying that shit. It's jokes. You need to have some thicker skin. I understand you're on your Facebook safe space, but it's a fucking joke. It's not really a call to action or violence. It's just making a fucking joke. And then there's this post right here comparing me to this character. And that's fair. I'll give you that. That's fair, honestly. You've got me on that one. Of the entire 1,000 comments, that's probably the best one. And really, I just don't have a lot to say about these, because again, I really feel like most of them are just in on the joke. So, Brian Taylor, this isn't his page. He hasn't responded. He probably won't. He seems like the kind of guy that can probably take a joke. He doesn't need limp-dicked Facebook fan pages fighting his battles for him. I'm sure he can handle it himself if he wants to. Or, there's a chance that he understands it's a goddamn joke. Reddit's the one that actually got under my skin just because of these fucking fart-sniffing, humorless assholes acting like they're the moral internet police, and you're not allowed to make jokes at any point for any reason whatsoever. Like, you can criticize the jokes saying they're not good. That's totally fine. I get that. But to say that, you know, it's so hypocritical, jokes, that doesn't make any sense. That's just stupid. I hate that. So Reddit's the one that I actually felt more offended by than the Brian Taylor fan page that went out of their way to make a beef out of it, and I can't even tell if it's genuine or not, but either way it was entertaining. So that's about it. Brian Taylor was still a douchebag in that interview. He might be a good guy in real life. I don't know. That's it. See ya. Throughout the entire history of me being in school, I was always asked by my classmates and professors if I was Asian or part Asian. Then when I came on the internet and showed my face, immediately I was once again asked, am I part Asian? And the answer I always gave is no. Because, you know, my parents aren't, their parents aren't, and they don't really know the history of our family or anything. For all my family knows about our past, we could very well be descendants of a celestial race that crash-landed on Earth in Roswell, New Mexico, that once communicated by clapping their ass cheeks together. No one in my family knows our history, and I thought, you know what, fuck it, let's take a DNA test. So I did a 23andMe to once and for all figure out, am I part Asian? And I haven't seen the results yet, but I'm going out on a limb and I'm going to say it's going to be something wacky. I'm thinking I'm going to get some wild results. It's going to say like 100% gamer, not even human. Or maybe my spit just sucks shit and they couldn't even get any results off of it. I'll log on and it'll say, sir, please don't submit your dog's saliva. This is not a joke. But your dog's 100% husky. Yeah, you never know. So let's just get right the fuck in there. I was tempted to come in the vials. I didn't. It's my saliva. Let's see what my saliva says about where I come from. Yep, the grand reveal, it's pretty boring. 72% European. Nothing too off the wall about that. That's, you know, that seems about par for the course. However, in a crisp second place is East Asia and Native American at 15%. And of that, 13% of it is Native American. Everything else is fucking zeros across the board, looking like I Christmas treat a pop quiz in kinesiology. So I'm a little confused on what to make of this. I'm guessing it means Asian isn't huge, but Native American is, and they're part of the same category on 23andMe. I'm not sure. Either way, the silver medal goes to East Asian and Native American. It's kind of the same story when it comes to Western Asian and North African category at 4.6%. It just says not detected across the board, and yet there's still percentages there, so I don't really know what to make of that. Sub-Saharan African wasn't huge, but unlike the other ones, this actually has percentages near some locations, which is nice. The other ones just have fucking zeros and not detected all over the place. This one at least shows me some areas, which is good. And then unassigned Obviously, it's unassigned because my saliva was too powerful for their puny human technology to really deduce. The genetic code hasn't even been discovered by humans yet, so they just had to leave it as an unknown variable. It probably means that, thousands, millions of years ago, a reincarnation of me used to rule the world, kind of like in Yu-Gi-Oh! How Yami Yugi was the pharaoh. So I had a Yami Charlie back in time, no doubt. So I'm 6.5% Yu-Gi-Oh! Fucking Emperor of the Earth. And that's kind of cool, I guess. So you put this all together, you got 10% luck, 20% skill, 70% European descent. Kind of boring. But on a bright note, there's a big chunk of Irish in there, meaning Jacksepticeye and I are even closer than we once thought. We're damn near inseparable at the lips, to be honest, and this only really puts our love even further, which is great. That's good news, but overall, just underwhelming results. I'm a little disappointed. So to everyone who speculated I was part Asian, I guess you were kind of right. 15%'s not a huge amount, but it's definitely something. And this was eye-opening. I can't wait to share it with my parents so they can wipe their ass with that information because they genuinely don't give a shit about it. But for now, it's cool little fun fact Jeopardy trivia information to have. I think it is kind of cool to know where you come from. I wish they would tell me stories, like break it down. Like I wish they could trace the DNA back to like a specific person. Like in 1845, your relative John Buzzsaw said to have one of the hairiest dicks in all of Eastern Ireland. Something like that, and give me like the lore. That'd be a cool breakdown, but obviously I know it's impossible. But anyway, that's it. See ya. Nothing says testosterone quite like a slapping tournament with the boys. A slapping tournament will put some hair on your chest and turn your micro dick into a turbo penis. Now, 2 weeks ago, I posted this video, Slapping Tournaments Are for Real Men. It was from one of my streams at twitch.tv/moistcritikal. I was doing just chatting, and then I typed in slapping, and what came up was a Russian power show where a bunch of beefy Russian men, like real men's men, slapped the shit out of each other, literally fucking slapping souls out of each other. And in that tournament, there was a man that shined brighter than all the others. If all of the weaker men in that tournament were simple candles giving light, he was the sun giving light. This man was a superstar, nay, a hero. His name, Vasily Kamatsky, aka Dumpling, or as I like to call him, the Kratos of slaps. Mr. Vasily is literally the god of slaps. I never quite believed in, Zeus, Mount Olympus or anything, but I believe in Mount Kamatsky, Mount Dumpling. This man is unreal when it comes to slapping. His nickname shouldn't be Dumpling. It should be the holy shit machine. Because anytime he greets someone's cheek with the palm of his hand, the only thing you're going to be saying is holy shit. It is incredible the amount of power he's able to generate with his palm. Now, how does this relate to Logan Paul? Well, the video I posted on YouTube about it blew up. It's at 3.3 million views right now, and I was told by a couple different people in emails that Logan saw the video, and that's why he reached out to the Russian power show, the next one, the Generation Iron, to participate in their next Russian power show slapping tournament. What I didn't know is he was actually going to be taking on the real Vasily Kamatsky. Not a stunt double, no safety equipment, just coming in raw, no rubber, in the fucking slapping octagon against Vasily Kamatsky. I don't know how Logan Paul wasn't admitted to Arkham Asylum for that insane idea. That was him digging his own grave. That was him saying on Twitter that he wants to die. Because he posted the announcement saying he's going to be competing in the next slapping tournament, the Russian Power Show, and I didn't grasp the magnitude of it. I saw him training for the slapping tournament, he posted videos, and I'm not going to lie, his slapping technique is pretty solid, and he packs some meat. I won't put on a tough guy act. If he slapped me in the face to try and teach me a lesson, he'd cause my head to do a 360. I'd look like a goddamn cartoon character. But you can't do that to Vasily. That will not work against Vasily. You couldn't make Vasily even turn his head if you hit him in the face with a sledgehammer. Vasily Kamatsky was born into this world to slap. He exists in this corporeal dimension to discipline people with his 5 fingers going across their face. This man's mass destruction weapon is right here, his hand. And there's nothing mutually assured about his mass destruction, because you're not going to retaliate. You won't even get a hit on Vasily because he's going to knock your ass out in one slap. Vasily is unreal when it comes to power and slapping. So when I heard Logan Paul's actually taking on Vasily and not just like some type of backyard slapping shit like backyard wrestling or low budget slapping tournament with him and some middle schoolers, taking on the real Big Show Vasily, when I heard that, I just couldn't fucking believe it. My stomach dropped. I felt like an incredible sense of guilt, like, oh my god, I just killed Logan Paul. Like, I really felt responsible. But luckily, Logan Paul came to his senses a couple days ago and posted a Twitter thing saying he's withdrawing from the tournament. Now, it's not because he was scared in his press release, but Logan, let's be honest, you were scared of Vasily. What sensible man wouldn't be afraid of Vasily? That's like looking Satan in the face. You know, that's fucking scary and intimidating. I don't blame you for dropping out. But he said it was because he witnessed an accident during one of his slapping training sessions, and it showed him the danger of it, and it is dangerous, admittedly, for sure. But he posted a video showing the accident, and man, I gotta admit, it was a pretty impressive slap. Look at this clip.
Rolling. Open hand. Oh! Oh shit! Yo, catch him! Catch him! Catch him! Yo, Adam.
Now, watching that really just makes me really fucking upset with Logan Paul. It would have been an incredible showdown, Logan going against Vasily. If Logan's packing that kind of explosive power and Vasily's packing it as well, that would have been a clash of the titans. I haven't seen Vasily be challenged yet in terms of pure slapping power, but Logan really does seem like he packs some mean meat in there. He could have probably given at least an interesting show, and it's just really disappointing to see him withdraw. I totally understand because he doesn't want to die. I get that. Vasily would have definitely taken another soul that day, claimed another life, but still, after seeing Logan slap that man out cold, ending that man's lifespan, shortening it by 10 years just from one slap, it would have been an absolute joy to watch Logan go against Vasily Kamatsky, Vasily who is both the unstoppable force and the immovable object. And unfortunately, we're not going to get that clash of the titans, but I am happy to see you withdrew because if he did take on Vasily and died, I would personally feel responsible for that. Like a very concerned mother when I found out he was going against Vasily, I was just distraught. I wanted to get in contact with his parents and apologize, but luckily, won't have to do that. But yeah, that's the story of how I almost accidentally killed Logan Paul by sending him to the Grim Reaper, aka Vasily Kamatsky, aka Dumpling. Logan, you made a smart choice not going against him. That's it. See ya.